enough distance that it started resetting the Baron. So when Wei went in to try to smite Steel, it already reset to 5,000 HP. So it felt really bad for Wei.
Wei gave it a good go, and as we said, the Cataclysm single target is kind of gross, but he had to do it in an attempt to keep Ian away. Really, really good play from LGD there, and Ian in particular showing the hell up in these fights. This is one heck of a debut coming out of him, and, Suning asking themselves a couple of questions, especially with the substitute mid-jungle duo, who were pretty damn good and influential in the early game, especially with the pathing from the Jarvan over Gragas, and that early bot lane dive, as well as the top lane reinforcement from Lissandra. But still, just looking completely disjointed, completely clueless, as we do head at that 38-minute mark. I think this is definitely one of the longest games we've seen this season, as you do see Suning trying to wait out the Baron buff, trying to find some sort of a pick, but now the mid lane inhibitors falling, and soon the bot lane one will follow, you have to imagine.
You have to imagine, but at this point, what other win conditions can Suning Gaming really rely on, as Ian is chunking down the backline? Angel loses 50% of his HP with a single blood transfusion as Sword Art goes into the backline, but he's going in alone, and it's a free kill for Kramer. Everything goes off. LGD take on the third inhibitor of Suning's base and look towards the Nexus Tower. The first one goes down. Wei in the front line gets chunked to half HP and looks to be perished over as Connie goes into the back. The Nexus is exposed, and LGD break the curse and take home the first game of the series.
LGD 77.7k gold there, 777 lucky numbers across the board, and they absolutely hammered it in there. Really, really good early game victory from them, and just complete. You saw the domination in the gold chart. 90% of the game was in their control. I believe that did slip to about 95% by the end of it. Almost complete domination from the start. As soon as they forced SMLZ's flash at level 1, it did look like the bot lane was kind of doomed, and you just saw Condi's repeated ganks down there, furthering their influence and just completely, as we said, snowballing the game in their favor.
Exactly.
And wow.
And that early flash, like you said, turned the tide so hard. I mean, it forced Lies into a game, it forced Condi into a playstyle that we're not used to see. Ganking early, being interactive from the get-go. And he forced so much out of Suning Gaming's bot lane. Wei was unable to really keep up with Condi through this game, because, I mean, he was dominating the early game jungle paths. He had both scuttles, he had the third scuttle as well, caught 4 or 5 scuttles in favor of Wei, but it didn't matter because Condi was so active in the ganks.
And now my question is, can they maintain this form in game 2? Because Condi tends to, be super present one game and then completely invisible the next. So hopefully, if you're an LGD fan, or someone hoping for a 2-0, not like that's us, hopefully, the same Condi shows up in game 2, because damn, that guy was on fire this game.
And now the biggest question is, can LGD repeat the prowess of taking home the game? Can they get a clean sweep like they did against Invictus Gaming and have yet another upset on the LPL? All these questions can potentially be answered by the analyst desk that we're going to throw to you right now, led by Ray Richu.
For this shit.
I don't know either.
Thank you, AC and Ibriz. We are back on the desk with Nightstar, Corky, and I'm glad I prepared for this during the game. But I can't tell if I'm butchering the pronunciation, means box. We've got a box with us, guys, as the 4th person for our analyst desk with the cap. I just noticed the cap. That is one nice cap. Thank you, producers. A beret, yes. As a producer, kindly told me in my ear. Thank you, Pythian. All right, we're back on the desk to break down that LGD's Game 1 victory. And guys, LGD won a game. Like, is this 2015? What is going on? Talk me through that one.
Yeah, so LGD, they drafted a really late game scaling cub with the Urgot, Vladimir, and Varus. And Suning, they tried to get the early game advantage, but they just couldn't get enough to snowball them through to that late game. And once Ian came online, he just easily took over that game. And we especially saw before 25.1k damage. I mean, it's just, as we said before, Vlad doing Vlad things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it really just boiled down to the team composition coming in from Suning was built more for that early mid-game setup, getting a lot of accumulating that gold lead in the early game and then being able to force things into the mid-game. They really needed to try and make some sort of play around that first Baron, but the responses from LGD were very good, and Ian came online, and once Ian came online, Weiwei ended up getting really desperate for some plays, as we saw, such as that overextension up in the top lane twice, where he ended up dying pretty out of position.
Yep, and we didn't have a lot of time before game number 1 to really talk about how we expected this matchup to shake up. But I think that most of us on the desk weren't expecting LGD to actually win that game number 1. So I just wanted to ask you guys, looking forward to the rest of the series, was game 1 kind of a fluke win for LGD? I mean, they are second bottom on the table right now, but they did have a pretty good performance in that game 1. Do you guys think it's more to do with, say, them swapping back their roster, finally getting things together in week 7? What do you guys think?
No, it wasn't a fluke win. They played to their strengths. They waited until Ian was online. It did help them that Weiwei was going absolutely ham, but they played that clean. They played for those objectives. They did it by the book. Once they couldn't get that first Baron push, they waited. They baited the Baron, as we saw, and then finally, once they got that team fight, they transitioned over to that Baron and got that, and just finished the game off that. And as we see, Condi being our man of the match here. Nice 65% kill participation.
Yeah, I mean, that first blood, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, at the same time, if you were to ask me what a win condition for LGD would be against Suning, it would definitely be Suning. That is kind of their win condition, because Suning, if you look through some of their matches, it's been very Flash Wolves-esque, where they explode into that early game, and they do a lot of stuff in the mid game, but then stuff happens in the mid game, things slow down, and late game hits, and they're just unable to close the game out. Classic Flash Wolves style. And that's kind of what we saw here, except they didn't even come out with that explosive of an early game.
You can take the Flash Wolves out of the LMS, but sounds like you can't take the Flash Wolves out of the Flash Wolves.
Yes.
All right, guys. Before we go into break, I just wanted to get your predictions real quick. I know we didn't get them at the start of game 1, but after seeing that game number 1, especially, where are we? 2-0, 2-1? Is LGD going to win their second series of Spring Split? What do we think? Corky, you first.
I think LGD can win this 2-0 unless Maple is subbed back in for the next game. But it's LGD 2-0 because they need Maple for that early game, but he's obviously not on the starting roster.
Nice, sir.
I think it really depends. If you were to ask me before game 1, I would have said 2-0 or 2-1 in favor of Suning. Obviously, it can't be a 2-0 anymore. But I think if they put in Maple, it really bolsters that early game where they can put themselves in the position to snowball early games into the mid game. But if things stay as is, I'm really leaning towards a 2-0 for LGD, but because it's LGD, I'll say 2-1 for LGD.
All right, guys, all you viewers at home, you heard it here first. This is the first desk in a long time predicting an LGD victory. We're going to go for a really short break before we come back and see if LGD are going to be able to pick up their second series victory in the Spring Split 29. We'll see you guys later.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, to continue the series between Suning Gaming and LGD. And with an upset on the horizon, LGD have taken game number 1. For those of you who just joined us, I'm AC, and with me have Ibris. So what just happened?
A lot of things happened, but as you said, a big upset in game 1 as LGD took almost complete control of the game. Ian happened as well. He's here now. He was a surprise signing of the offseason. Didn't really see him play, however. Stood behind Yuki most of the time. But hey, if you were looking for a standout performance in your debut game, that was certainly one. I like this guy's kiss tie, by the way.
It's lovely.
Very nice.
I like the other one. I like the other guy's pop art tie, but it's not about this tie. It's not about the ties that we're looking for.
It's about L'Oreal Men Expert.
Exactly. I mean, Suning Gaming on a 5-loss win streak and looking down on the abyss.
5-loss win streak.
5 loss. Oh, good lord! 5-loss streak. 5 series loss streak. My goodness. And looking down on the 6th loss here, and it's against LGD, the bottom team of the LPL this split. They have fallen and they can't get up.
I don't know what it is about Gandhi that makes him just overperform against purported top tier teams, but hey, he played like a god last game despite a couple of questionable pathing decisions that he made. Of course, having to go base for that initial Predator boots did mean that he left a large portion of his jungle open to being invaded and counter jungled. But it panned out in the end. It worked out for them. LGD took complete control of that game, as we said. About 95% of the game they spent with a gold lead. And yeah, we had them pegged as, this mid to late game composition, but it felt like they were in complete control from the, actually, I was going to say from the 7-8 minute mark when the Scraggers started to repeatedly gank the bot lane, but then you remember, they seemed to be in complete control from minute 1 when they had the complete collapse in the bottom lane that led to SMLZ flashing, and yeah.
Angel is Maple out, Maple is in. Suning Gaming don't want anything else, don't want to lose anymore. They want to get up finally, and they're throwing in Maple for Angel. Angel didn't have a bad performance in of himself. He roamed a lot. He had a lot of pressure in the side lanes, but they also took down Weiwei and put in Hacker again in the jungle.
Now, yeah, this was something that could happen because it felt like they were just playing Weiwei and Angel as a mid-jungle duo just as a test, see if they can break their loss streak against the last ranked team in the league. But the fact that didn't really work out means that they did need to change something up because, hey, that game looked completely dire of all prospects, even with the early game draft and that priority Lucian pick on their side. It just looked completely disastrous for this entire lineup of LGD, and you saw how well played LGD took it, for this entire lineup of SNG. And now Suning really just looking to come back into it and sort out the man on your screen. I say the man on your screen, the portrait of the man on your screen. His Thresh signature pick didn't really show up that time around.
It didn't. Unfortunately, it didn't. And we have to refer back to the points we were making where Suning Gaming were investing in so many resources to get 4-man bot. They did it twice, they did it 3 times, and it did not work out for them in the end because they weren't getting any plays. They weren't getting any real tangible objectives with those 4-man dives bot. They were getting kills, sure, but they were just delaying the inevitable. And Ian is a threat that needs to be attended in this game. Now, the biggest question is, can LGD pull it off again? Do they have any other tricks up their sleeve? The draft is on, and we're going to see the responses right now.
Indeed, the draft is on, as we do see the Tom Kench being banned out from Suning here, saying, look, you had the counter to the Thresh pick this time round, either ban it out now, otherwise we're going to have it and you don't really have an answer to it, unless you maybe do. But LGD, still, that would be a bit overconfident giving that away. You could give Lucian away as well, so I'd say ban either Lucian or Thresh. Yeah, okay.
Lucian is out from Suning Gaming, who are, again, representing the blue side with LGD on the red side. Akali is the first pick. They're going to leave Urgot open, however.
That's the Maple special, actually, so he has 1v9 on that champion a couple of times. Yeah, you do the Urgot, you have the Aatrox.
Maple syrup?
That was not a good pun.
It wasn't.
That was not a good pun, nor... Yeah, leave it to me, I'm the expert here. Alistair pickup is fairly solid because it's got a decent matchup into the Thresh. It just kind of says, look, we dare you to pick Thresh, we know you want to take it, so you may as well take it, but we have something for it, so sad times all around for you, my friend. And yeah, now LGD saying, look, let's pick something up here, let's go for something, let's hope for the best. And that's exactly what they're doing. Hopefully here they do pick up something that's a bit different from the jungle we saw last time, simply because, you know, the Dragons, yes, it did work out, but now your pathing's been exposed, and Hacker is a completely different beast to Weiwei.
Yes. Now they draft into Alistar, they draft into Urgot. Urgot couldn't pass over to Suning on the second in rotation, but it looks like Suning wanted to do something different for the jungle. Weiwei picked up the Jarvan, and Hacker is having some existential crisis here where he wants to show Weiwei how it's done, and he will. He was shuffling between Olaf and Jarvan, both very relevant picks, but it's going to be Jarvan for the early game level 2 aggressions.
Sorry, I was having an existential crisis there during LGD's first pick phase as I dropped something on my desk, but all is righted now. And all seems right in the world as we see the Galio holder. Not sure if I like this for Sword Art because he is the primary playmaker of this team, but they lock it in anyway. And it just means that Maple, should he find himself ahead or wanting to play the 1-3-1 with the Suning lineup, does mean that he has the backup of a semi-global ultimate ready to help him out. And there's no Tom Kench available for LGD, so they don't really have an answer to that semi-global support ultimate.
Now we also need to take into consideration that this Galio could be serving as a flexible role. He could go mid still as a colleague, could go to the hands of Xiao Al. LGD, however, aren't afraid to hover over the LeBlanc, maybe even lock her in for that aggression to get Ian a little bit further ahead and get him a little bit more roam potential that he so lacked in the first game. So
and LeBlanc blind pick or into LeBlanc, sorry, into Aatrox here is Aatrox? Akali here is a solid pickup. And now the Sivir ban out just says, look, we know that the Jarvan Galio composition wants to run at us with the speed up, wants to get on top of our carries, backline, whatnot. So ban that out just to hit the synergy a bit more. Now, the other 80 carries that I'd say target are the Ezreal. I'd say Suning need to take that out themselves, otherwise LGD are just going to draft it here. But no, it looks like they're targeting the jungle pool, so at least Xin banned out suggests that we could see a ban out on the Xin Zhao as well. Any of these junglers that can really contest the Jarvan early, at least also a possibility from Condi.
I'd like to call this a clever draft from LGD because they're probably forcing the Galio to go mid because Galio serves really, really well against LeBlanc. And forcing the Akali top lane means that LGD could probably have a potential good matchup against that champion as well with the Urgot. Now, Ezreal being taken out alongside Sivir means that LGD have a planned first pick that they want to take away from Suning Gaming.
So, if you're LGD here, what do you take? Do you take the
LGD? No.
No, you take the Varus. You take the Varus.
I'd take the Draven.
You take the... Okay, yeah, Kalista, a beautiful combo as you know you throw the...
She's locked in!
Get the knockups, and then Suning take the Varus in response. Yeah, Jin's kind of a troll pick at the moment, so yeah. Varus makes sense.
Alistar Kalista in the bot lane means that Kalista can Kalista. I get what she's saying. Shut up. But it means that Kalista can pick up the Alistar, throw him into the backline, and save him the trouble of going for the headbutt pulverized combo. We can just pulverize the backline and headbutt a priority target in the backline of LGD.
And now the Yorick kind of rounds out this comp because it gives you a split push target alongside the Akali that you can dictate the Galio ultimate towards. As well as that, he has a decent amount of teamfight frontline presence with the Maiden of the Mist in particular, so it means that there's one more target that Ian's gonna find harassing him down and denying him entry into the backline. The possibility of the Zac here does suggest that LGD are playing for the mid to late game yet again, but it's gonna be a Nocturne.
Nocturne, okay, so it goes in accordance to what we discussed in the first game where Condi doesn't like to have that much of an early game pressure, but in this particular match, it's safe enough because you have winning lanes all across the board. Urgot has a fairly decent matchup against the Yorick. In the jungle, Nocturne probably isn't going to get too harassed by Hacker. Hacker might have early game interactions, but it's so hard to gank any of these solo lanes from LGD that I don't think he's going to have any sort of influence apart from Condi's jungle pathing.
And now this mid lane matchup in particular is going to be entirely dictated by jungle presence, as you're saying, because the Akali struggles early on until she can get 5 points into that, 5 points into that 5-point strike, is that where the Q, so that she can reliably clear the waves and match LeBlanc. LeBlanc is interesting because nowadays you see the W max still, which means that she has to commit not only her body to clear the waves,
that's so cool.
that she has to commit her only trading spell into the wave clear as well. And yeah, that was pretty cool. I was impressed by that. I want to make you fan art someday, and we can show it on the next desk segment.
But the lineups
Tuesday.
are locked in. LGD on the red side with Suni on the blue side. Completely different compositions, completely different team ideas here for LGD, who had so much early game pressure from Condi
Godfrey.
in the jungle.
Godfrey hasn't played League of Legends in a long time. He was LGD's franchise player back at Season 5 Worlds, where he threw out the Varus arrow and it missed completely and went like off the screen. But I think he plays PUBG now. But anyway, yeah, as you said now, LGD versus Sinning round 2. Coming into this, we have some interesting matchups. We have a couple of signature champions. Maple's Akali in particular, gonna be the one to watch here. This guy, it's first pick for him. He's coming off the bench saying, look, I'm here to play now. I'm here to completely smash you. But Ian, this is a trial by fire if I've ever seen one.
It is a trial by fire, and the first trial has been successfully completed with a Vladimir. Let's see if it can do it again with a LeBlanc as we head into the Summoner's Rift for the second game of this best-of-3 series between LGD and Suning Gaming. The first dragon is an Infernal, so again, we should expect a lot of action in the bottom side of the map.
So goddamn difficult for this Akali to find assassination targets. I mean, yes, you did ban out the Tahm Kench to deny that, but once you have the spell shield from the Nocturne available, you have this tanky Ergot, you have the notoriously slippery LeBlanc, and I'm not even going to start to mention how difficult it is to lock down a Callista as a melee, especially when she has the likes of an Alistar next to her. That being said, I have been pleasantly surprised by Maple in the past, and I expect nothing less than perfection from him this time around, now that he's here to prove himself. Fleet footwork being packed just to add that little bit extra.
PYL has perished, and he's back.
He has, but he's back, and now he's soul-bound to the Callista here.
I wanted to drag your attention over to Kramer, because he is back in Hail of Blades on the Callista.
Yeah, that's a good amount of base potential if I've ever seen it, but it does mean that he's pretty much just going to try to go for those trades, then back out, because SMLZ Sword Art, this Galio Varus combination has so much DPS and so much more wave clear than their counterparts here. You're just going to see complete domination in this lane from the bot lane of Suning yet again, you have to imagine. And this time, SMLZ hasn't had his Flash Force at level 1.
He didn't, and now Hacker is roaming towards the bottom side of the map, trying to look for some sort of interaction, but he got caught off in the process, being spotted by 2 different wards.
What the hell?
LGD know exactly what Hacker is doing and where he is going, and Condi is going for the level 6 rush.
You know what hurts my brain? The fact that Condi is the same pathing when he's playing Predator Gragas and when he's playing Lethal Tempo Nocturne, so yeah, Hacker going for the punish yet again, and just taking the blue buff. Different jungler, same idea here, is
different information
happy,
as well.
Happy to see it.
What's with the Tomkin spam? Is this the thing?
Yeah, I guess so. He's on the bench, so they're bringing out the emoji Kench.
The emoji Kench, great. Hacker has Condi's blue buff, so he's gonna be the prop. Wait, Condi's still running towards the bottom side of the map. He's not vertically jungling. He's not vertical jungling. He just wants to go for his camps. He doesn't want to invade. He doesn't want to take risks. Hacker is spotted through and through, so he is telegraphing his path, but he's not being punished by it.
Every game, please take my blue buff. Take my blue buff. I'm gonna give that away to you. Just let me farm, and you know, it's the Hacker saying yes, please, thank you very much. I'm gonna now clear bot side Scuttle Crab, your blue buff, my blue buff, top side Scuttle Crab, and yet again Condi falling behind. This time around, SMLZ does have flash available, so it's gonna be a more difficult gank to set up, especially like you said, when this Nocturne isn't level 6 yet. So what are we gonna see? Are we gonna see an attempted gank? Okay, but there's so much vision on the side of Suning right now that their bot lane is going to be stupid to try and attempt anything.
And Condi has been spotted by a ward near the Scuttle Crab, which means that Hacker can respond to this potential game from Condi. And the pressure of a Jarvan is a lot more dangerous than the pressure from a Nocturne. Even though the Nocturne can have pretty solid ganks, pretty sick, it still needs a certain amount of surprise and a certain amount of setup to really pull it off perfectly.
I mean, there's a lot of setup in the form of the Alistar WQ, of course, the headbutt Pulverize, and you also do have the Callista later the game goes on. I expect some really, really beautiful, well-executed 4-man dives on that bot lane once the Alistar has access to the Unbreakable Will, and once LeBlanc starts to abuse the fact that she has so much more wave clear than the Akali early on. As well as that, once Paranoia comes through, it's going to be increasingly more easy to follow up on those kind of kind of fights. And while all this is happening, while we're talking about the bot lane, the jungles, the mid lanes, top lane going by way of Lies right now, pretty damn convincingly.
Connie,
Rise,
it is live.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it is, but it's something that was expected. Until Xiao has access to the Maiden of the Mist, he is going to have trouble dealing with Lies because his Urgot's W can one-shot the ghouls, unlike many abilities in the Summoner's Rift can. Or cannot in this case.
Yeah. Urgot having a... Okay, yeah. Dude, you don't even need to tell me about Urgot, about Yorick and not being able to one-shot the ghouls. Hello? I mean Rumble.
Yes.
If he puts the cage on me, I press Flame Spitter, and his ghouls are still at like 3/4 health by the time I kill
Exactly. But since Urgot's W is an auto-attack proc, it instantly kills them.
See? And on top of being instantly killed, Maple, you have to be careful. It's a level 4 Nocturne, but he's here to instantly kill your caster creep so Ian can get a better base. That is a gank, I suppose. It's more like a micro tax. It's a reset of the lane.
Yeah, it's a reset of the wave. It's helping Ian go back faster. Gandhi himself is ways behind Hacker. Look at that, a whole 10 CS discrepancy between these two junglers. That's camp-wise, it's like 3 camps that Hacker is ahead of Condi, and he's going to take yet again the third Scuttle Crab of the game.
It is 3 camps exactly, because it's 2 Scuttle Crabs plus the blue buff that went over to Hacker there over Condi. So yeah, good read on that. And now that's almost as much as the difference that we're seeing in the top lane right now. 2 waves in advantage of Lies, despite Xiao getting that priority Yorick pick. Urgot, when we hit 9.4 next week, going to be gone forever. So this is as good a farewell game as he's probably going to get. Really
I wanted
nice
to try Urgot, but I haven't had the courage to. I wanted to have tried Urgot in the 9.4 patch, but I haven't had the courage to do so. Unfortunately,
he's feared beyond death. I don't know.
I am.
He is beyond death now, without a shield. Basically, does not have a shield next patch. But yeah, Urgot right now, not looking too hot. In this game, however, pretty
in
good.
this game,
doing well
he
for
is
himself.
doing well for against Xiao. Xiao already has
again.
access to the Maiden, and he has summoned the Maiden to try to de-push the lane a little bit against the Urgot, try to get some pressure away from the top side of the map. Hacker scouting around the Infernal Dragon. We talked about this in the earlier stages of the game, where this could be a very big potential skirmish point, or a contention, point of contention, this Infernal Dragon.
So yeah, the Infernal Dragon's a big point of contention. And just talking about the top lane yet again, mid lane.
Mid lane, you have Ian being harassed by a Hacker. Cataclysm is available. He flashes in, but immediately Ian flashes out of the Cataclysm. Maple wants to go in and get the first blood with a perfect execution.
No Ignite necessary. Is double flash, double ultimate coming out of the swinging mid jungle duo, but here comes some sort of collapse onto top lane.
Oh, Nocturne turns down the lights once to go for the Yorick. Fear Beyond Death equalizes the scoreboard.
Really beautiful Fear Beyond Death followed by the Paranoia. Well, other way around, but still, yeah, it worked out in favor of this LGD Gaming Lab trying to trade that back, but because they've seen Condi on the top side, it means he's going to be able to go for turret plates, but in exchange, Infernal Drake, as you said, that point of contention, going by way of Suning Gaming, you have to imagine right now, Hacker taking advantage of the fact he had, this lead. And now, because there was a delay on taking his own blue buff from Hacker, it means now that Condi can go for this invade, it's not there. Flag and drag combo coming out when Ian goes to clear the pink ward, and then a really beautiful flash follow into the Cataclysm. Nice flash on the damage, but once Maple dashes forward with the first part of that flawless execution, flashes forward as well, there's so much space that Sakali can close even at this point of the game. And it's that space he closed, it's that gap he closed, it's the flawless execution that you saw come through from him. The execution followed by the other execution on the other side of the map.
A lot of executions.
Kills all around. Yep.
And now Condi takes his first Scuttle Crab home. Overall, LGD behind in terms of goal, but not really relevant. First blood tower is still uncontested as it stands right now. But we do see Kramer on the Kalista still. We still haven't seen Kramer on the Kalista show up yet, being pushed in by SMLZ and Sword Art. But as it stands right now, the Infernal Dragon is going to help out Xiao Al once he gets a small chance to really outpush his opponent. That's a Chains of Corruption coming in from SMLZ, but to no avail against Kramer. He sustains through it perfectly.
And all the damage traded just got even up by a tower shot connecting. You do have Condi lurking around. No Paranoia quite yet, but it is fairly soon. I'd say about 7-8 seconds left on that cooldown, and then he could look for something.
Oh, PYL flashes in, gets a handle pulverized on SMLZ, taunted by Sword Art. In the process, Maple finds Condi. Both of them roaming down the river, but neither of them wanting to fight each other. Condi just wants to disengage at this point. Sword Art in the front line gets a knock up on PYL. LGD on full disengage mode right now as Suning Gaming look for its potential dive.
Good turnaround from Suning there, but what is Ian doing while Maple's far away? Is he just wave clearing, or is he going to do something more? He's zoning out Hacker just a little bit, holding John's attention.
Flag and drag. Hacker gets locked in place with the ethereal chains, but Suning don't want to follow up on the dive on Ian.
Flag and dragging half your health away, says Ian, just taking away a good chunk of Hacker's HP there, but still not enough considering Maple just got to freely roam bot lane, blow a couple of cooldowns. However, the lack of flawless execution does mean Ian can breathe just that little bit easier now. Condi kept the paranoia most importantly as well, and Maple still has no flash from his big follow-up towards that mid lane gank from Hacker earlier on.
Connie right now is just looking for an overextension from either Maple or even Hacker because his paranoia is online. If he pulls it down, nobody will know where anyone is.
Oh my god.
Yes.
SMIZ just based, first time at 110 CS and then just bought the Blade of Rune King one by Hacker and Maple going top actually. Lies, my friend, could be in trouble.
Lies in trouble, no flash available, use it last trade. Xiao Al, still full HP, secures that kill with a shovel right to the head of Lies.
Maple getting nothing off that is a bit unfortunate, but hey, they said, look, it's more important that Zhao gets it after falling behind early on. And now, good chunk of damage from the Maiden, from the Demolish, from Jarvan and Yorick freely hitting onto this top lane turret. Once Sheen gets clear for Zhao, it's gonna be a lot easier for him to start really chunking out these towers. But hey, it's a plate gank, you can get this second plate as well. And keeping Hacker in the top lane does mean that a lot of pressure is just put towards these initial early turret plates.
And this is exactly what Suning Gaming lacked in the first game, was the proactivity to secure these initial objectives. Right now they are getting plates left, right, and center, but they also have a Yorick who wants to get these plates, who has the potential to shove in really, really hard. And Suning, in this early game compared to the last one, they look really solid to, well, at least try to contest a game 3.
And while we're talking about early games, you have this Tailblades Callista, and Callista known for having a strong laning phase in general, but Varus is one of the few AD carries that has an even stronger one, so it strikes me as a tiny bit disrespectful that you would leave him open and give him away, because you're basically saying, look, one of my champion's strengths is at this point of the game, but now you have something that's stronger, so we can't really do anything, especially when you have the support mismatch as well, because Sword Art on this Galio is doing one hell of a lot more than PYL. You're basically hoping that the next paranoia is on your side. On the topic of the next paranoia, it's been about 6 minutes since we've seen the last one, so please, Condi, something?
He can't do anything at this point because all the lanes that we would expect LGD to be nice and safe are losing right now. Ian is completely tucked up against this tower. The threat of Hacker around the corner is just too great to ignore.
Oh, by the way, 9.5, they are fixing the spectator bug, but this is LPL, so we'll probably get 9.5 in, like, August.
Oh, come on.
Should be about 2 weeks after 9.4, which is next week, so 3 weeks from now, I'd say 9.5 is gonna hit LPL. And yeah, spectator bug will be gone there, apparently.
I wanted to state that Hacker isn't building as aggressively as Suning Gaming's other jungler was. He has a Cinderhulk, but he does have a T-Mat. Wait, exactly.
Cinderhulk into what I believe would be...
IPL, there's a paranoia 13 minutes in, but immediately responded with the Chains of Corruption for the disengage. Suning Gaming!
No, that
Look
was
at them go!
So goddamn well played from SMLC there. Did you see? He used the E, the Hail of Arrows from Varus, to pop the Nocturne spell shield, and then throw out his ultimate so that the snare would definitely connect. On topic of CC connecting, here comes Jarvan.
PYL has Hex Flash, but the Flash is still on cooldown and gets stunted by Sword Art, and the kill goes straight for SMLZ. A roaming PYL was caught off guard, and Suning Gaming managed to secure a kill of their own.
Seriously, I cannot get over how beautiful the mechanics from SMLZ there were. As soon as Nocturne came towards him, he used the E to proc the spell shield and then landed the snare. Kramer may find himself with some landed CC on his face, though, should his team not be here to back him up, but they're here. Condi, Ian making their way towards the bottom lane.
Kramer lost a chunk of damage from that piercing arrow. SMLZ is in a world of trouble. No flash available means that Ian's going to secure a free kill, but the Ignite is popping through, taken away, but not going to find a kill on that one. So it's a 1-for-1 and a tower saved by LG.
And this hurts my brain because yet again we see one of the assassin mid laners making the way to the bot lane, and then the other one just not following, just farming up. No more turret plates to be found at the 14-minute 30 mark either, so Maple just getting a tiny chunk of damage in exchange for this, and this is how the play started down in the bottom lane. You saw how far forward SN seemed to be. They split completely, so, had Sword Art stood on top of SMLZ there, we could have seen the Galio taunt interrupt the LeBlanc all-in, but because they split the way they did, clearly it did not work out, and SMLZ just drops completely. And if you're LGD, you're hoping that this starts the LeBlanc snowball.
And with a bumpy start, LGD still have some fight left in them. Their comp isn't really oriented to take down Suning Gaming's bigger tanks, Xiao, Ala, and Sword Art, but they're doing their best to delay their spikes, to delay their tankiness, and they're doing it. They're doing it perfectly. Like you said, they want to get Ian snowballing yet again. Ian took last game at least 10 minutes with Vladimir to come online. Right now, it's taking a little bit longer with the LeBlanc, but we've seen that he can and will be able to chunk down SMLZ with no issues whatsoever.
The issue is, if you poke out the Akali, she's going to sustain, or you may find yourself burst on by the Draven. We said in champs like this, it's a bit of an issue for the LeBlanc after level 9, once 5-point strikes maxed out and clearing out the minion waves reliably, because LeBlanc's W, she needs to commit her body to just piercing through the backline, and she needs to jump back and forth with it. So her wave clear is also her all-in, which puts her in a very, very difficult position once that's on cooldown.
Skirmish around the Herald. Who's going to take it for who? It is still alive. It finally died, but we don't know who got it yet. But the fight goes off. Connie turns down the lights. Suning Gaming, you're super, super healthy still. LGD's paranoia was but to disengage, and it looks like they took the Herald, but they can't pick it up.
They took the Herald, but they can't take the Herald, if you know what I mean, because the Eye is still there. The Eye sat in the pit, and now they could go on some sort of suicide mission for it, but no, it could find Sword Art. However, you do have the head bubble.
Sword Art, that's a double man taunt from Sword Art. Force the flash out PYL. The fight goes off. Maple takes down PYL. Everything goes south for Suning Gaming. Fear Beyond Death Lies wants to fight back, scares away the lineup of Suning Gaming. But the Eye of the Void is way gone for LGD. So Suning Gaming, mission accomplished, and they still take Condi and PYL with them.
And while that fight happened, LGD did manage to sneak in around into the Baron Pit to pick up that Eye of the Herald.
Did!
So all in all, a pretty decent fight for them, trading basically one extra kill in exchange for that Eye of the Herald that they did get onto their mid lane there. Now LeBlanc didn't really pick up a kill or even an assist at the tail end of that fight, but still got the Eye of the Herald, so happy days for LGD there.
I didn't notice. Ian probably snuck around with his distortion to get the Eye of the Void. I didn't notice him going over since the fight was so fired up around the tower. Suning Game really wanted LGD out of that, but we're gonna see the replay how Ian secured the Eye of the Void.
Here, he just like dashes around, ducks around, and just picks up the kills left and right. And then Ian just not even in this fight, he's like, alright, clear out the Varus if you want, and they're like, nah, come do this. But everyone disengages anyway. Nice that you got the Akali splash, but pretty unfortunate that nothing else came your way bar that Rift Herald. Could pop the Rift Herald top if he wants to, but I assume it's going to be used mid just to clear out a bit more vision. And then once you have that mid lane turret cracked, it means that Nocturne can start aggressively paranoiing more often, you have to imagine.
On the subject of mid lane towers being cracked open, while that fight was happening in the top lane, Kramer, or SMLZ actually, snuck a mid lane tower for himself.
Yeah, and I said that they wanted to peel Ian towards that, but the call from LGD was like, go in, go in, go in, go in, go in. So they basically traded mid lane turret for Maple Slash, which is not terrible if you can kind of use the advantage that you've now got in that regard. So take as many team fights as you can in the next 3.5 minutes. And I expect them to do that and drop the Herald after that one team fight, or use it as perhaps a tool to instigate said team fight.
Sword Art in wave clearing duty right now in the mid lane alongside SMLZ as he joins his support. In the process, Suning Gaming still ahead 2,000 gold and an Infernal Dragon against LGD. The next dragon is also going to be an Infernal, dropping into the Summoner's Rift in 45 seconds time.
It's a bit telling to the state of a champion's ability when we're 19 minutes into the game, the Callista still does not have W skilled. The Sentinel and the passive attack damage proc from your support clearly not being worth it enough to say, look, I don't want to skill this. Just having more points in the queue and the Ren So yeah.
That's Herald.
But yep, that is a Herald being popped in the bottom lane just to match the Yorick and the Maiden in the bottom side. And it does mean that the Infernal coming from 20 seconds is going to be what's in the eyes of this LGD gaming lineup.
So the Herald being sub in the bot lane, Maple responds with the tower in the top side. And if we look at the minimap, everyone on LGD is forming a defensive line for this Herald. So he's going to take this tower freely. I don't think Xiaoel can do anything to realistically stop or prevent this Herald from taking home that tower, while Condi is trying to circling around the Infernal Dragon to secure it for LGD.
The tower's nice, but it's not what they want. The primary objective here is the Infernal Drake.
They're not going for it either. Hacker's already around the corner looking to contest it.
You have no flash on Maple, as we identified earlier, but now you could see Hacker slide around the side if they do choose to commit onto Maple. So LGD being super careful here, but in the end it bit them in the back. They basically wasted the Herald and now would give away a second Infernal Drake. And the second Infernal Drake is a huge swing in power and difference, but him lies with
they have some vision. There's lies with the teleport that the Infernal Dragon is secured. The fight might go live. LGD needs to pull the trigger on this paranoia, but they're just gonna let Suning Gaming walk out of this unscathed and with an Infernal in their pocket.
Second Infernal as well. Huge disparity in terms of the power being. Hi,
Maple.
Okay, you have the Akali chunked out, so you could make a play for the Baron if you want, or for the mid lane tier 1.
Mid lane tier 1 is a good trade-off for LGD, but one that comes a little bit too late. Obviously, the Infernal Dragon would have been a lot juicier if it wasn't in the hands of Suning.
And now you have the Righteous Glory almost complete for Lies here. Sorry, I keep thinking that we have top lane Rise for some reason. It's really, really bad for me. But my mind is on League of Legends Champions 24/7.
We have Lies in the top lane, though. It's close enough.
We have Lies in the top lane, not playing Rise or Rumble or anything. So, yeah, Lies coming in through here with the Urgot now soon building towards that Righteous Glory means that he can start to look for some sort of skirmish into Xiao's Yorick. This Yorick has the Triforce, will start becoming progressively more relevant, but this Urgot is a tanking force to be reckoned with now.
Ooh. He's not tanky per se just about yet. He's got a Triforce looking for the Sterex gauge. Once he completes the Sterex gauge, he will be very, very threatening with the Maiden and the split push, so he will need to be attended 24/7. And we've seen games in the past on the LPL that were lost thanks to a Yorick split pushing and not being real. It wasn't. I'm thinking Amazing J right now.
Maybe
remember that game. Remember that game where Amazing J was just split pushing constantly, and then all of a sudden the base was open over a Baron fight, and Amazing J was just clearing out the game alone for
that's
RNG.
What you do with the Yorick, you know, that's how you take over games, and that's exactly what the Yorick's trying to do this time around. That's why you're seeing Sunning not really take fights, even though they potentially can. They're just happy to buy more time for this Yorick split push. But here's a fight
of buying time, PYL pulverizes the ground but gets no one on the knockup in the process. Kramer still wave clearing away. Baron Nashor could be a potential threat. Suning Gaming are just trying to implement vision on LGD's top side of the jungle, and they're doing it so really, really well.
Embarrassing, but hey, it's fine. You send out the enemy team, you're happy, and now next time that Stunning get caught in that position, hopefully.
There's a paranoia. They want to go straight for Xiaoel and take out the side lane pressure. Immediately getting consumed and scaring away Hacker, who might be in trouble. Suning Gaming try to collapse, but they're there for the disengage of Hacker. -1 split pusher on Suning Gaming means that LGD have the numbers advantage. They could go for starting to implement vision on the Baron Nash.
Xiao, no teleport available as well, does mean that when he comes back up, he's gonna have to take the long route back into this fight.
They're going to crash on Maple. They have 2 members. Kramer's really, really low. He needs the help of PYL to be relevant. Hacker extends his spear and secures the kill on Kramer, but he doesn't go unattended. Suning Gaming getting heavily punished for their invades.
Good return aggression from Maple, and you couldn't expect it because everyone from Suning committed bot lane to try and salvage play from Xiao.
SMLZ getting got between a rock and a hard place. Free Beyond Death is not available. Ian, however, is waiting for his cooldown to chunk down SMLZ. Everything that Suning are doing, they're getting punished and having the same exact treatment heading back at them.
So LGD made a play, got punished by Suning. Suning made a play, got punished by LGD. Trade back, trade back, trade back, trade back, but now it's 2 members of Suning, including the jungler that are down. So this Rift got left.
Oh, he lost his Scuttle Crab as well, so right now Suning have no priority over the Baron National, still trying to get Maple forced out his flash.
And now Maple in a very precarious position coming the next fight without that flash, because it's gonna become progressively more scary the longer the game goes on. You could find yourself one shot by the LeBlanc, find yourself in a scary position with Cliss, and look, Maple basically 1v3ing now because, you know, the rest of his team went bot lane. Galio ultimate to immediately close the distance is really nice because it allowed him to not immediately drop to the rest of LGD, but basically because the Akali front-loaded burst, it meant that Kramer wasn't dishing out DPS, Ian was somewhere else, and there was no damage, no threat coming onto this Akali. Happy to dance through this, and because Suning just kind of split the way they did, bit of a miscommunication, the two former Flash Wolves members holding each other's hands, up, moving downwards, Maple and Sword Art, whilst SMLZ's like, hey guys, I'm part of this team. Oh. Yep.
Yes.
That's how it
6-6
panned out,
on the
basically.
scoreboard. Suning Gaming just leading by 700 gold. It's at the 25-minute mark. It is pretty irrelevant. They had the game in their hands and they threw it by looking for skirmishes in LGD's side of the map. LGD, who were very prolific in close quarters combat, considering they have a LeBlanc, considering they have an Urgot. I mean, they played it out really, really well, and now they're back in the fray.
And 10 gold from that Sentinel going by way of Hacker there. And now you're seeing exactly why Kramer was like, nah, I don't need this spell. It's just free gold for the enemy when they find the thing. Speaking of finding things, Ian, you may be in trouble.
You may be in trouble as Hacker is collapsing as well. Ian managed. Paranoia was perfect for the disengage. They lost track of where Ian went and managed to secure the life of their mid laner. But now the mountain is under contestation. It's Hacker who takes the primary engage on it.
And LGD really need to, and since the longer the game goes on, the bigger this disparity in terms of Infernal Drakes is gonna get, as well as the fact that Maple's really starting to ramp up in terms of relevancy and power. While he doesn't have Flash, you can probably force something, especially since SMLZ is also flashless. But the game does look pretty scary for LGD right now. With
LGD
no
could go for a
Paranoia
Baron play. They're not going to invest in the Baron play.
They lose quite a bit.
Exactly, so they
The
decide not to lose the mid lane tower. They collapse on it, force the talent out of Sword Art, and immediately return back to the lane assignments.
Third Infernal coming up soon as well does mean that Elder Dragon is a win condition for the Suning Gaming lineup. Not really too much of one for LGD, but it means that should the option to trade come, Suning will be happy to take the Baron in exchange for the Elder, and LGD don't really have a choice in that scenario.
They don't, because they don't have any sort of priority in the bottom side of the map. If you look
Any
at the
priority
vision
or any
control,
dragons.
exactly. If
Well,
they have an Ocean Dragon,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
something.
Yeah. Wow.
Suning have a Mountain and two Infernals, but they have an Ocean Dragon. Well, the point is, Suning Gaming have full vision control on the bottom side of the map. As we can take a look at the riverside, they have 3 zombie wards peltering the riverside, plus 2 controls and a standard ward. So they're more than set up on the bottom side of the map. LGD have no agency on the bottom half.
Dude, you stole my buzzwords. Vision, agency, everything. But yeah, as you said, LGD now looking for mid-priority and then making their movements around this Baron pit because some key members of the enemy team are lacking summoner spells right now. But it looks like they're not even going to start. They're just going to bait out some sort of play here. And Ian looking for
Conde has Paranoia. That's a redemption going down, which means that LGD are going to be forced out of the Baron pit. They didn't aggro the Baron, however.
Zhao's pushing bot lane.
And he's unattended. We talked about the dangers of leaving a Yorick completely alone in a solo lane. He has the maiden, so he's going to hard shove that lane and probably will be able to take it as Lies isn't going towards the bot side of the map. LGD want to contest the Baron Nashor, but what are they doing? Lies is confused. He wants to call with a team. But in the meantime, Zhao is just taking down the base of LGD with them.
So much damage being pulled out of this Triforce Yorick at this point with the Maiden in tandem. Just so much split push. And we said, blink and you miss it. If you dare to get caught with your pants down mid-rotation like that again, you will find a lot of your base immediately going down. That's exactly what happened, despite the fact LGD were taking control, going blow for blow, sometimes better in some of these fights. The game has been in complete control of Suning Gaming for 75% or so of this game so far.
Oh man, the call was good. I mean, LGD could have committed Lies to the bottom side of the map. They had the teleport online, but they wanted to push the fight. They wanted to invest in that fight. If they did, they could secure the Baron, but Suning were just baiting and buying time for Zhao.
Get caught out mid-rotation, and you just get completely smashed by the Yorick. If it wasn't Yorick, it'd be Fiora. If it wasn't Fiora, it'd be anyone else. Literally, Suning just out-macroing with that minor lead they've snowballed into a legitimate win condition now.
Right,
In his
and now
open bot lane,
LGD
now
need to someone perma attending the bottom side because they have no tower to clear the waves, which means that
Sunny.
right now Xiaoel can have the opening really to join his team in the Baron fight. Yorick doubles down not only as a split push, but an extremely prolific Baron clearer.
And even if we're playing on hit Varus rather than lethality Varus, you still see these arrows dealing about 20% of Ian's health. So this LeBlanc, a lot of her weakness in the past has been being chunked out prior to a fight. As we do see a spectator bug coming through yet again. PYL.
PYL knocks up Maple. Maple goes into the Shroud. He's nice and safe. PYL's forced back, and they have no vision on the Baron Asher.
He has
Suning
Ocean
Gaming can
Drake to sustain a bit.
100%
So I'd say he's
invest in the
not
Baron.
forced back as such, so they could make an offensive play for the
Oh, they're going for
Vision.
Baron.
Yeah,
They see
they're-
Lies fighting off. They see Lies fighting off Xiaoel, and they also see Ian in the bottom of the map. It means that Suning Gaming want to invest in this Baron Asher, and are doing so. Maple in his Shroud. Nice and safe. LGD have no vision on the Baron. It's at 4,000 HP. Teleport coming in as well. LGD want to pull the trigger. They go in. They steal it. LGD steals the Baron Asher away from Suning Gaming, and they're back on the fray.
Immediate teleport flash from Lies to those. He's really stunning!
Suning, get the Cataclysm down on Lies. Look at that go. Maple is down, or Hacker is down, mind you. Lies is still alive and kicking.
Kramer?
But Xiaoel joins the fight and takes him down. PYL very, very tanky. Kramer is down as well. 2 for 1 in favor of LGD, who are popping off really, really hard. Infernal coming live in 20 seconds. But Maple isn't long for this world. Ian just needs his cooldowns. Ian just needs one auto attack. And Maple, the watch is securing his health in the process.
Beautiful play from Maple to get out of that. I thought he was dead for sure, but no. Turning it around with a stopwatch and getting out. But the most impressive play in that fight was Lice's Fear Beyond Death. He had to flash out since he teleported in, but then the overestimation from Hacker there, the commitment of the Cataclysm getting immediately burst down by the Surgot, led to a 3-man Fear into the 3-man Alistair knock-up with the Callista Fate's Call, and just turned around the fight completely for LGD. Complete CC onto priority targets for Sunning, and Maple, after putting out so much burst initially, had to commit his cooldowns defensively, had to skirt out of the fight, almost dropped to LGD, and LGD take the Baron, take the team fight, and Condi showing you why his nickname is the Son of Baron.
And what a thundering momentum play from LGD. Take the Baron, take the Inhibitor, take the Infernal. They want everything that they have the right to take. Here's a replay on the fight around the Baron.
And now you see just how much the commitment was here. The Paranoid defensively, yes, pretty nice. And then Lies gets completely collapsed upon, but you're already low enough to get Fear Beyond Death through the LeBlanc chain. And then look at that beautiful fit into the backline getting knocked up by the Alistair Callista combo. Okay, that was really, really damn clutch from POL as well. Headbutting Maple out of the fight, getting him away from his priority targets. No resets, no attacks for the Akali in this fight. Nothing coming by way of Maple there, and just really beautiful control play from LGD. And team fighting a team that we said were pretty much the favorites coming into it. And LGD, they were behind, now they're really, really far ahead when it comes down to these fights.
And what is LGD's next move? They're going for the bottom side of the map. Better yet, what is Suning's next move? Because they had the game in their hands. They had Xiaoel as a major unattended threat in their lineup. But right now, LGD took on the driver's seat, and they have the pedal on the metal.
And yeah, they have their foot on the pedal to the metal, as you said. Everything going by way of LGD right now, pushing their lead, pressuring the games. And you know what? I like seeing this. I like the 5-manning from this LGD lineup because it does not give Xiaoel time to split push. You're seeing him having to group with his team. Well, actually, you're seeing him and Maple fight for farm in the mid lane as the turrets do go down. What is this?
Maple doesn't want to go with his team. Maple taking a sweet, sweet time to rotate down to the bottom side. Same for Xiaoel. The Maiden's still alive, but Maple gets chunked down just by a couple of hits from LGD's front line.
Condi doing Raptors, so LGD not really committing to this play as much. Getting a free turret, now looking for that top lane. They need to break up in the outer turret, into the inner turret, into the base. And once they have that gold, once they have that map open for them, can start to really push that offensive vision line and start to really make plays into the Sunning base.
And we were wondering what Ian could potentially do with the LeBlanc come the mid-late game. We're now sitting on the beginning of the late game, and he is 3-1-1. The front line from Suning means nothing to Ian because he can just circle around and find SMLZ in the back.
Very tanky J4, as you said, but really not doing much besides acting as CC bot. And you saw how little relevancy that tankiness had last fight when he got immediately burst down by the Urgot LeBlanc combo and led to the devastating Fear Beyond Death onto the entire Stunning Gaming lineup.
LGD now pushing the mid lane. He has super minions in his favor. The Baron Nashor finally expired, and the nightmare is partially over for Suning. They have a chance to breathe now. They have a chance to fight back, but they're only behind 2,000 gold. It was a mini comeback for LGD, but we need to remind ourselves that LGD were behind around 6,000 come the Baron play.
And it was that, discrepancy that they did close. They're completely in control now, as you said, and just keep applying the pressure. And as we mentioned,
Yeah.
they're taking
Look
the
at
top lane
Xiao.
turret. Now they're taking the top lane.
Oh, they're going straight into the back line. It was a great hero's entrance, but at what
Where's Mabel?
cost? It's Hacker who gets consumed by the Fear Beyond Death, and everyone in the back line of Suning is getting dismantled. It's LGD, a ruffle stomping with a double kill from Lies, a kill from Ian, and almost an ace in favor of LGD.
Actually,
Oh,
Maple
wait.
did a fairly good job of taking this around.
Yoel's still alive. Yoel's taking
What?
an ace. He's got a double. He finds a triple. He's going for the ace. His life flashes away. He wants a quadra. He wants Lies. And Suning Gaming still holds some breath on their lungs.
How the hell did Suning turn that
Uh-oh.
around after Maple was
Oh,
bot lane?
Xiao, Fear Beyond Death not available. Still on cooldown. Goes into stopwatch and the unofficial quadra goal for Xiao.
Zhao, that was beautiful, but what on earth? Seriously, you get hard engaged on by the entire LGD team with the Nocturne ultimate, with the Alistair combo, with the Callista ultimate. Maple was bot lane with no TP. They turned on the aggression, but as you saw just then, Zhao Ao, so much damage with the Maiden of the Mist, so much stick potential. Look at the minimap. Maple is not in this fight. This is a good fight to take. You have the immediate lockdown and shutdown of SMLZ, the Fear Beyond Death on Hacker. But the raw stick potential of this Yorick in particular, look, he's still alive, he's tanking people up. And then Maple, late to the party, but still present, comes in, bursts down his priority targets, and Kramer almost instantly dies here. Look at that raw damage coming out of the rest of the lineup of Suning here.
Uh-oh.
And
It's
Condi
another
making
Baron attempt to steal. Condi still has the blast down away, and he goes in. He gets another steal. He gets another steal from Suning Gaming. LGD back on the driver's seat. What is going on?
Okay, this game is actually insane. What the hell? Okay, both junglers trading each other, and okay, I'm happy with that. Suning, okay, probably not too happy with that, but LGD, they're like, okay, we were kind of really far behind, then we were kind of ahead, then we're kind of behind again, and now we are, okay, ahead again. Happy days.
Oh, what a roller coaster of a game this is. This just goes to show how inconsistent Suning have been looking at the second half of the spring split. But LGD, what another upset. They've taken the second Baron, and they thank Suning for the hard leash they gave on that objective.
Okay, yep, time to calm down. I think that's a replay in the bottom lane. Yeah, okay, the bottom left, sorry. So you had the Nocturne come through, and they had to flash out because the Baron was still pretty high health. But nobody respected the blast code, so pretty much a blind blast code into the pit. Actually, no, there was a pink ward there still, so yep, just really good calculation from Condi. Son of
And now the
Baron,
Elder.
could he be Son of Elder Dragon too?
This is the Elder Dragon being contested by LGD. It's the first Elder Dragon of the game.
Hacker's in
And look
base.
at Hacker. Hacker is still in the base. He has no clear way into that Dragon pit. LGD know this, and they're taking it as fast as they can. Maple's in the back. It's another objective for LGD and Elder Dragon, and now they're ready to fight. They have the Baron. They have the Elder's true damage, but the Chains of Corruption are good for the disengage.
Elder looking pretty damn good on the LGD gaming lineup as well. You saw Maple try and make commitment there. We saw Hacker was late to the party as well, but as well as that, he could not really find his way into the pit simply because it's so difficult to outsmite a Callista comp as well. So, yeah, really good objective control coming from LGD lineup right now.
Don't forget the Callista's Ran got nerfed on epic objectives.
No, not on 9.2.
50. It did.
Not on 9.2.
50%.
It was on 9.3.
Was it?
Yeah, I think.
I'm actually. All right. I'll take your word
Either
for
way,
it. But
it's
regardless,
fine. It's still a hard
It
smite.
is.
It's like 500 extra damage.
mm-hmm.
Was it 9.1? I can't remember. It was
Don't
9.
worry about it.
I
I'm gonna
looked
look
it up. You're hurting my
Okay.
feelings. It's okay. Callista...
I'm right and you're wrong yet again.
No,
Regardless,
it's still a
yeah.
hard smite, okay? But
It
this
is,
a hard
it is.
fight for
It was.
Sunning to take, facing down a Baron buff, an Elder Dragon buff, facing down the LGD gaming lineup that seems to be in near complete control of this game. But then again, we thought Sunning were out for the count when Maple was away from the fight, but you saw how well they turned that around, and now Maiden and Mist coming through, so this could be another fight. LGD looking to make that final push, but Sunning looking to hold through.
And look at the timestamp. We're about to cross the 40-minute mark, which means that the Baron's buff will be doubled. The benefits of having a Baron Nashor in your hands will be doubled. You'll get 80 in AP instead of the standard 40. So LG just needs to hold up like 10 seconds more before they can pull the trigger on Suning Gaming it again.
And now there's only one inhib turret left, and that's why you see the massive amount of sieging towards the bottom lane, because that's it. That's the only
40 minutes
they have available to them. And now still no GA backup for SMLZ here, so it's a very precarious fight to take. Maple being zoned out by the rest of LGD.
Ian and Condi want to go in. Ian recognizes his buff and goes straight for Maple, forcing him out of the fight. Inhibitor down in the mid lane, while the rest of LGD are circling around the base, trying to get some assistance down mid. Suning Gaming want to bite back on Condi and Ian, but they managed to thin themselves too short. Now LGD are back bottom lane to get the inhibitor tower.
Now Maple was pretty low there, but the burst healing from the Hextech Gunblade would have let him go back up to full. That's why LGD didn't force it perhaps quite as hard as they could have. But now they're pushing on all three cylinders. They're firing on all cylinders. They're pushing on all three lanes, shoving in the minion waves. Not even using minion waves in the top side, just distortioning in, right-clicking a couple of times, laying down the damage into Sunning's base. And Sunning looking to be in a very precarious position as we do crest that 40-minute mark, as you said. Baron buff, super scary, but also
Baron is
super
over.
absent now.
They have the full engage coming in. You have Condi with the paranoia to force the disengage away from Ian as Sword already utilized his hero's entrance. Suning Gaming wants to go for full all-in. Elias is inside the Cataclysm. He is 1v5 right now, but he is so hard to chunk down. But finally, Xiaowao manages to take out the raid boss. LGD on a full disengage.
That feels pretty gross, actually, considering LGD had both buffs heading into that fight. They waited and waited and waited until Sunning could find a hard engage onto them. Only got one of the inhibitors as well, so, yeah, I would have liked to have seen a bit more forcefulness from them, considering that the amount of buffs they had. But, hey, LGD, they're like, alright, we got our top lane inhib, sorry, mid lane inhib. We're okay with that. We'll trade our top laner, and then hopefully Lies gets the TP flank fairly soon.
80,000. I mean, we can't even account for gold leads at this point. The slate in the game, everyone's pretty much full build. The 4,000 gold lead at LGD hold is irrelevant, considering the long scheme of things. Ian got his first stop. Ian has his first stopwatch, so he's looking for the Zani's hourglass as soon as he can. Maybe they'll give him a little bit of extra oomph in his fights, give him a little bit extra versatility and allow LGD 2.5 seconds to really collapse on his mid laner. Now we're really close, 25 seconds for what could potentially be the last Baron of the game.
And LGD looking pretty damn good as we head towards that last Baron, as you said. Well, presumably last Baron, because Condi in particular yet to be outsmited, just completely demoralizing Hacker as well. I guess it does mean that Sunning will be a little bit more hesitant to pull the trigger on some of these.
Alright.
What are you gasping at?
I am gasping at the fact that Condi is at level 18 versus Hacker, who is at 16. So there is a huge, and I mean huge, smite discrepancy.
Yes. Also, there's a Callista. Come on. Give me
Yes,
some
there is a Callista. No, you're right. There is also a Callista, and there's also the Unsealed Spellbook on Lies. Look at his summoner spells. He already swapped into Smite. They are ready to steal this one away from Suning.
1 minute on the Baron, on the Elder Dragon as well, does mean that Sunning either need to pull the trigger on one neutral objective or just go for a team fight right now. Look for something. It looks like they're going to try and go for the Baron, but LGD could find something. Sunning saying, look, we're not going to start this, we're just going to wait for you to engage on us, and then we're going to take a team fight. But 2 Guardian Angels in the inventory of LGD right now to match the 2 that are on Sunning. These are late game team fights if I ever did see them.
And now neither team can really afford to make a mistake on these late game team fights because the death timer right now is at around 70 seconds at the 43-minute mark. And Suning Gaming are going to take the initiative on the Baron yet again. They're starting it. Condi, the paranoia available. He has Lies has a teleport, but he no longer holds a smite in his inventory. 4,000. He goes in. They get it. No, they don't. Kramer finally takes the Baron over to Suning Gaming. The first Guardian Angel is popped. LGD are in full disengage duty, and Condi shut down by SMLZ.
good smite coming from SMLZ there. Not really a smite, but you know what I mean. Really, really beautiful damage coming out of the entire lineup of Suning Gaming there, bursting down the Baron before Connie could have an answer. Maple doing his lesson from last time, looping around to take that blast cone, and now with the Baron buff, Suning are going to make a play for this Elder Dragon. You have to imagine they're going to be one hell of a lot more proactive with it than LGD. Or, well, we're hoping that anyway.
No more Connie to steal. LGD had all the cards on their table, but they used them too early. Lies ran out of the smite before he could actually pull it off, so he went into split push duty in the bottom side to try to match Xiao out. So finally, Suning Gaming are playing to their strengths, and they have both the main objectives in their inventory. And this is going to be a long Baron that LGD might not live through.
And LGD had all the cards on the table, as you said, and Suning just flipped the table, threw it down, pushed it away, and SMLZ coming up huge for now with the secure, and now we could look for some sort of a team fight following this reset.
Go for the Nexus! They have the 2 inhibitor towers, but they allowed Connie to respawn in the process. Paranoia is not yet available. The Maiden is harder to take down than most targets on Suning Gaming's lineup.
No G on the Nocturne either, so it does mean the next fight, regardless of the buff data, should be in favor of LGD right now. Second buffs are going to come through in terms of the Baron, in terms of the Elder Dragon next time something does spawn, so we do have a little bit of breathing room before then. 45 minutes on the game clock is actually disgusting, and I hope LGD 2-0 just because, wow, these are some long games. But no bias here. Still pretty fun series to cast.
No, and Suning Gaming aren't actually making a proactive move to close out the game. They have the buffs, they have the fight potential. They're not taking advantage of it. They just want to split push all day with 2 inhibitors open. And right now, the game is dead even. Both teams with 2 inhibitors open.
Fight! Please, like seriously, come on. Maple is huge. Maple has not died this game. Maple is the only player in the game to not have died right now. 11 of 15 kill participations as well. This Akali is gonna start to 1v9, you have to imagine, with that double buff on her. I'm waiting to see us hover onto a member of SN here, so we can see the buff durations. But
looking at 3 Guardian Angels. 3 Guardian Angels on Suning Gaming's side means that their fights are going to be very prolonged, and LGD are going to have a very hard time to clear them out. Baron Ash is probably running thin as we speak, but they still want to make a move for this tower. They're being very respectful of LGD, however, but the tower is still dying slowly but surely thanks to that cannon main in the back. They finally take it down. The 3rd inhibitor is exposed, and Suning Gaming are making a move for it.
Ian actually not doing too much damage and not threatening all that much with LeBlanc anymore, and as you said, so many minion waves crashing into the base. Once the Elder Dragon falls off, you can start looking for a fight if you're LGD, or you may have to have your hand false now and you may have to go for something. The minion waves do crash!
They go in. PYL in the backline. They want to go straight for SMLZ, but he's kiting back. He finds the kill on Condi. He's still nice and healthy. 5 members of the Suning Gaming taking no damage whatsoever from LGD, who are just collapsing to everyone on Suning. Double kill falls in favor of SMLZ. Suning Gaming are shredding through LGD's backline, and Kramer kiting back with the Callista. Not much left to do, but fall back to base as their Nexus is cracked open, and Game 2 goes to Suning Gaming.
And we have a series on our hands here as Suning Gaming do take down LGD in one of the messiest games I've seen yet. 2 Baron steals and some absolutely disgusting utilization of those neutral objectives buffs. Just, oh man, turn on the aggression. Where's the aggression that China is known for? You need to keep going for these objectives. You have to push it through. You cannot let the game stall out like that for LGD because, hey, you just handed the game back over to Suning on a silver platter.
Oh my lord. And it looks like the recipe. Look at the goal discrepancies. This is exactly what
damage.
This is exactly what the game was all about. It was a roller coaster.
It was. It was good. I enjoyed it.
It was.
You enjoyed it. Junglers doing even damage is fairly poetic as well.
It is 9.9k damage.
Conde doing a lot with those Baron steals. Sadly, not enough to take LGD to a victory, but hey, LGD pretty okay with the way they performed regardless, because Suning apparently a top tier team, though recent results, including the last game, may say otherwise.
1-1 on the scoreboard after the 47-minute match means that we're going to a 3rd game this series. But before we head on to the 3rd game, we're going to toss it over to the analyst desk to break down this roller coaster, this emotional and physical roller coaster of a game. So Ray Richu, please take it over.
Thank you, AC and Ibriz. We are back on the desk with Nightstar and Quickie. Turns out we unboxed the box, and hiding in it was Opal all along, wearing a Swinning jersey too. I'm disappointed, guys. I am LG disappointed for this game. Opal and I.
You're used to it, Jenny. You're used to it.
Come on. That doesn't
You're
mean
used to it at this point.
I had hope. All right, that game.
Yeah, there was hope there, especially with Condi stealing 2 Barons, and still LGD could not end. Though at that point they really shouldn't have gone there because the amount of pressure that Hacker was generating over the course of that early game. I was shocked that Suning just didn't do anything. Both teams just played poorly, but in the end, Suning, I guess, just held on for dear life and was somehow able to pull it.
Yep. That's kind of the summary of that series or game right there. It was both teams going shenanigans, and I guess Suning's draft was just better scaling, so once it hit 45, 50 minutes, you naturally kind of won, unless you really, really mess up.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just... Suning did get off to a good start. They were able to contain Condi in the early game thanks to a brilliant invade by Hacker. Yeah, giving him the edge, the early game edge. But once he hit that level 6, things started to turn around for LGD. They started getting more fights. They started getting the pickoffs with Paranoia, as we see Xiao Al getting the MVP here on that Yorick. Especially getting the delayed penta. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's a little understandable. Again, Xiao, that just getting that pressure early too, especially getting that inhibitor in bot lane rather early into the game, it kind of forced LGD to always have to have that in the back of their mind. And they really tried to equalize in the bot lane. Especially that last base hold coming out from Suning before they really turned it around. Of course, we're going to get to see a little bit. This is, of course, I believe the delayed quadra kill, because honestly, this did not look good for Suning. I thought this was likely going to be game here, and then, oh yeah, you got a Yorick that's still, 3/4 health, has made it out, and can just whack you with a shovel.
Yep, that was definitely the Gravekeeper right there, sending them, giving them the bop.
Oh, Justin, censor this, please. We can't show this.
Yeah. Do you have mature rating turned on for the channel? Is that on?
Sometimes. At this point, it's. I don't think you can censor anything on this stream at the moment because it is just both these teams. It was such an ugly game. You really don't like. You really hate to see it.
I'm definitely on that one.
League of Throws, boys. League of Throws. Before we go into a really quick break for game number 3, I just wanted to get your guys' opinions on where we think this series is going to end up, because I don't think anyone really expected LGD to come out strong in game number 1. They nearly won that game number 2 as well. I've still got hope, guys. Who do we think is going to take the series?
No one can decide in what to do in the mid game for either team. So it comes down to who has the better draft. So whoever wins the draft, has a better late game draft, I think just will win. It's a cop-out, yes.
To be honest, I may have to give it to LGD. If they can have the same game that they had game 1, if they can get that same amount of snowballiness through that mid to late game, we can certainly see them take the game. But it as Nightstar said, it all depends on that late game draft.
Yeah, I'm wearing the Suning jersey, so I kind of have to say Suning. Slightly biased tonight. Just got to equal out the desk a little bit.
You could go change, before game 3. There's still time.
Oh, then I got to go into my FPX here, and then I'm just they just pay me at that point. Honestly, I think Suning should be able to take it. I think even like unless the draft is so one-sided into LGD, I think Hacker just had a lot more pressure in the early game, and I think with Suning, they should learn by now. Okay, we can actually punish Condi on this. We can punish LGD, but they just got to take that gap, and who knows, like. This is Suning that looked pretty good earlier on in the season, and then they've kind of, crapped the bed a little bit. But I still think the team can pull it off.
All right, guys. Opal, still thinking that Suning are going to be taking the series. I think the rest of us still have hope in LGD to turn this one around. We're going to go for a short break before we come back with game number 3, guys. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this one. We'll catch you guys later.
Baby, I thought you could give me wings. Baby, I thought falling felt like flying. 'Cause loving her makes loving you harder. 'Cause loving her makes loving you harder. Loving her makes loving you harder. And far away, I'm loving you stronger now. Hesitate.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the third and last game of this epic series between Suning Gaming and LGD. It's been a heck of a roller coaster, but here we are on what is the last game of this best of 3 series. I'm AC. With me I have Ibris. So, wow, dude, what a ride.
Yeah, epic is certainly one way to say it. Bit of a messy series from both teams. Both of these teams looking like, they are definitely bottom tier teams, which is sad because Suning in particular looks so promising in the off-season, looks so promising at the start of the season, and then it just feels like they completely mental boomed and imploded following a couple of unlucky losses here and there. And as you said, they're gonna continue this loss streak, you have to imagine, unless they can triumph over LGD here.
It was a very sloppy game. They did swap out their mid laner. They did swap out their jungler. The effects were controversial, but they did manage to secure a win. It was far from what you could call a solid win, but it's a win nonetheless, and beggars can't be choosers. So right now, the biggest question is, will Suning Gaming be able to take this third game in a cleaner fashion, or will LGD step up their decision making.
That will be the question indeed, because, whoever loses this game is gonna really have some questions about the roster, gonna have some questions about whether playoffs is realistic or not, and, just gonna have to really identify whether or not they've made the correct decisions heading into the season, because these
Yeah.
aren't the super teams that we're used to seeing. But still, the amount of raw talent that's been put on both these rosters should be enough to form some sort of cohesiveness. But it feels like there's a distinct lack of shot calling. There's a lot of indecision, just a lot of hesitance to pull the trigger, and everything
A
about
lot of
these
missed
teams screams
smites.
we need to get it to yeah. The smites were questionable too.
But yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of question marks that we need to see answered in this third and last game that will determine if LGD will manage to get an upset, or if Suning Gaming will be able to break their 5-series loss streak curse that has been bestowed upon them. But it's live. We've seen some switcheroos in the Champion Select last game. The players are heading towards their seats as we speak. And Suning Gaming and LGD are ready for their last series of the night.
Yes. Hopefully the last game of the night, unless something
It is.
strange
Last
happens.
game.
Yeah, it is.
It is
Hopefully
imperatively
it's a
the last
fast one,
game.
because both of these teams, I don't have the mental fortitude to cast another 50-minute game. I do, but hey. I assume that playing it is a whole different story altogether, because this is really gonna start to be taxing. And I don't know, both these teams have a lot of questions for themselves, but LGD saying, look, we struggled. It's like everyone can tell that we struggled. Just gotta get it together, honestly.
Yes, and you have to expect that the previous 47-minute long game has had some sort of impact in terms of momentum, in terms of mindset in these players, especially because it was such a prolonged game. These players must be exhausted at this point.
Too exhausted to press smite, apparently. But no, we could use a couple of substitutes, perhaps, or I'd say both teams pretty happy with their rosters from last game, or at least they were until the games kind of fall apart and degenerated into clown fiestas. But hey, we're back now. We're happy now. Everyone's here, ready to take game 3.
And it doesn't look like there's any sort of substitutions going on, especially for Suning Gaming. They're going to maintain their full original roster with Hacker in the jungle and with Magic in the bench. So let's see if LGD have what it takes, if they've learned anything from the second game, if they can pull the trigger earlier, or if Condi is still going to lose 2 Scuttle Crabs, or not 2 Scuttle Crabs, but 3 Scuttle Crabs actually, in the earlier stages of the game.
Yes.
Yes.
And now there's a bit of a pre-match interview to hype you up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's
it's got
from
English
Suning.
subtitles. That's kind.
They did put on the subtitles, but yes, it is Suning Gaming with the interview coming in. We could expect to see.
There goes the interview. Yeah. Alright, it's a quit. We're good.
Right. Champion Select should be going live pretty soon, pretty fast. Both the teams are ready, and we are also ready. The unofficial English broadcast is ready for the epic conclusion of this astounding best-of-3 series. Reminder, LGD took the first game with a very commanding lead. Suning Gaming took the second one with a very sloppy display of missed smites, missed barons, LGDs, and it was mostly LGD's underperformance that really took it home for Suning. But it's the third game that's going to decide everything for these two teams.
And now a lot of the questions are going to be given over to that Galio and Yorick, to the Akali from Maple. We said it's his signature pick. Everything just gonna be raised here. Credit to the fans that have stayed since the start of this, actually, because I think we've had about 6 hours of League of Legends so far. So,
It's Doritos.
yeah.
It's Doritos time, and you know what that means? The Champion Select is live with LGD taking on the blue side. Suning Gaming red, and the bans are coming out. Maple isn't going to have access to the Akali no more.
yeah, no Akali from Maple here, and you know, Suning saying, all right, we got to do something here. We got to have a couple more questions for ourselves. LGD first time blue side this series. I assume they didn't expect it to go to 3 games, but here they are. What can
They
we
chose
first
the blue
pick?
side.
Tahm Kench is gone. We can take Galio perhaps.
Why would you take
or-
Galio when you have Urgot on 9.2?
Yeah, okay. We can take Urgot. It's been working out well so far.
Or Lucian?
I'd say Suning rather gonna ban. Okay, gonna ban Zoe. Zoe 85% win rate across 35 games.
How far behind are you?
80% win rate. Oh wait, I'm casting off the Twitch stream.
Good job.
My bad.
No,
Yeah, anyway,
but-
the reasoning behind that Zoe ban is because she has an 80% win rate in the LPL across 35 games so far. So, yeah, pretty strong count.
Right, Lucian locked in. Suning Gaming are going to respond with Alessandra probably and Urgot. They're not going to skip Urgot over to LGD this time around. Or maybe they are, if they decide to lock in the Alistar. Xiao still has the option of locking in Yorick as well. So LGD have 2 very strong, powerful picks for the top lane as it stands.
You have the potential to take Thresh into the Alistar if you want, otherwise you run the risk of having Suning just ban out loads of supports and target down PYL's already limited pool in that second phase. I'd say here you want to secure either the Urgot as you said, or a priority jungler plus a support.
Thrush is also still available for PYL if he so wishes, but it's going to be flexible. Gallia getting locked in here on the second pick of LGD. Ian, we saw Ian on the Vladimir in the first game. He wants to repeat the performance in this last match of the best of 3 series.
And it's a repeat performance that they are shooting for again. Just, you know, that mid to late game domination that we saw from Ian when he transitioned from the Rift Herald pit to take over the game, start to shred through Suning's front line, back line, everyone, dropping to this LGD Vladimir. So, yeah, Suning happy to take up a Kaisar here, just saying, look, we need some consistent DPS. We have something that can finally answer the Lucian once she hits that stride in terms of item spikes. And now Suning, they've given away the Galio, so start targeting out the jungle.
Okay.
Get rid of Urgot as well.
No Urgot, no Yorick, no junglers for from either of these teams. AD carries are actually bot lanes overall are locked in. Same for the potential mid laners. Even though both Vladimir and Alessandra are flexible picks. All after the first ban from Suning, we could expect to see LGD banning out both Yorick and Urgot. But no, they want to have the Aatrox out of the picture. They don't want that pressure from Xiao Al or Maple.
Xiao's Aatrox was surprisingly uninfluential, but still pretty solid. It's also a pocket pick of Maple's if they wanted to flex the Lissandra top side. Lissandra's teamfight presence here is pretty damn solid. This is actually the same matchup that Suning ran into the LGD Vladimir in game 1, but obviously we had Angel, I believe, that was playing mid lane for them. And yeah, now the Yorick being banned out by Suning themselves says, look, we want to pick Urgot, so you ban Urgot, otherwise we'll take it.
So if they ban Urgot, they probably have something up their sleeves. Cyan is still a possibility as well. Will LGD let Urgot fly? Yes, they will. They want to take away the Camille from Hacker. They don't want that early game pressure coming from the jungle, even though Hacker still has access to his signature Jarvan.
What is that?
It's an angry duck. Urgot, first pick for Suning on the second rotation. LGD can strip Jarvan away from Hacker.
You can take the Jarvan and pair it up with the Galio pretty handily, or you can take the likes of the Elites, I'd say, just like the picks, but I'd say Jarvan pairs really wonderfully with both Galio and the Vladimir here. Other options for jungle right now are Zinzao, Elise, sorry,
Cyan?
who?
Cyan?
Zaya.
Scion.
Kled!
Ah, darn it. I wanted that Cyan jungle. But no, it's going to be Kled locked in for the top lane of LGD, making an appearance here in the LPL with the Lee Sin being hovered. Lee Sin was banned out, remind you, but it's going to be Sejuani for the jungle of Kandi.
You could answer the Sejuani with a Zac, or as you said, the Jarvan's a possibility for Haki yet again, as Suning. This is their default jungler all series long, and despite the fact it didn't really pan out for them through the mid game last time around, Hacker's early game influence was pretty damn good, off the chart almost, just really good influence from him.
Still hasn't been locked in yet. 5 seconds left on the clock, but it looks like it is going to be Jarvan for the last game of Suning Gaming. 3 out of 3 games, Jarvan in the jungle. It has been going through the hands of Weiwei. It's been going through the hands of Hacker. And now in the last game, he is back on the Summoner's Rift. Kandi with the Sejuani. He taunted with the Lee Sin, but it is Sejuani with the Kled. They have a very strong all-in. Their power spikes are around the early to mid-game. LGD need the fast-paced route for this last game of the best of 3 series.
And then you send the Kled into the backline, you have the Galio drop on him. And then my main concern is that I expect Kramer just to be left to his own devices again, and that's another issue, where he's just going to get split off from the rest of his team who are diving in, and then he gets picked off. And then suddenly you see SMLZ just alone, dead perhaps, because the rest of his team is already commit. LGD really need to not abandon Kramer in these fights.
Kramer, we've discussed Kramer before. He is the go-to carry here for LGD. However, Ian has been showing up in this series, and he's been very dangerous. He played the Vladimir, he played the LeBlanc. He outshined with the Vladimir, and he wants to repeat that prowess in this last game.
Yes.
Thank you for agreeing.
Very well done. Oh man, this has been a long series. And I was on desk game 1. Come on, it's been a long day of quality League of Legends, mind. Well, I say quality League of Legends. I'm gonna ignore the last game. Or the last 20 minutes of the last game. Sorry. But yeah, now LGD taking it on against Suning. We see the Kled for the first time this series. Something pretty fun to watch more often than not. Hopefully LGD pull this one out of the bag, and yeah, we see another upset just added to the tally. Suning
Could
really
it be an
needs
upset?
to break their lose streak though.
I know. I mean, Suning need to break off of that curse. LGD, I mean, after losing to Vici last week, everything that they can rack up is an upset in of itself. They're the bottom tier team right now of the leaderboard, and it's on this last match that we're going to determine if the curse is broken or if LGD are looking for the second upset of their career. We already have it back from Lies. And the game is on. LGD on the blue side for the first time this series. Suning on the red side.
Suning taking it on the red side, as you said, and LGD now for the first time taking the blue side with this Vladimir pick that they had so much success with in game 1. But now Suning saying, look, we hopefully have awakened. The last game was just, you know, our main roster coming back together, waking up, and now hopefully they can take it this time.
Interesting patterns of defense here, as Lies is face to face with Xiao Al. I reckon that back wasn't because of any threat, because he has all of the summoners, but I guess it had something more to do with the lack of items, maybe. Who knows? Regardless, here's the Keystones. Nothing too unusual coming in from either of these teams.
Pretty
After
standard across the board. The only really telling one is the fact that Fleet Footwork's coming out of Kaisa, which does suggest that we will see the... I believe that is the go-to for the... wait. Is that the
One?
AP or attack speed? No, that's
no,
attack
it's
speed.
true.
I think it's attack speed Kaisa then.
It could be attack speed Kaisa since the AP Kaisa was rendered kind of irrelevant. Kandi's circling around his own jungle. He wants to go for the Scuttle Crab. Meanwhile, Hacker is taking over his blue buff. Kandi now meets up with Hacker. This is the first interaction we're going to have the chance to see. Kandi loses aggro on the blue buff. Hacker wants the Scuttle Crab more than what he wants Kandi's blue.
But yet again, Kandi's like, take my blue, please, just have it. And Hacker's like, alright, nope, I'll take
no.
you too.
Arctic Assault over the wall.
Okay,
And-
this is
uh-oh,
basically a
Ian?
repeat of game 1.
It is not, because Ian now is left alone to his own devices. Kandi disengaged completely, but it looks like Ian still wants to fight back on Maple. Xiao Al in the top lane isn't looking too strong. Kandi might be looking for a gank. Arctic Assault is available, and the flash is off from Xiao Al.
Bear trap on the rope, not connecting there, but as you saw, a good follow-up from Hacker!
Ooh, Hacker finds Kandi in this jungle. Passive secures most of the damage, but Kandi is low and in danger. A lot of action in these first 5 minutes. Both the junglers at level 2, but it looks like Hacker secured priority on Kandi's blue buff.
Flash is blown by the top laners there as well. Does mean that gank's a legitimate, you know, possibility from either of these junglers if they want to come up fairly soon. But you have to pay attention to the other lanes now, because yes, Vladimir struggles to get lane priority and can't really follow up on Lissandra early, but it's up to Maple for what he does with that. Hacker is still level 2, but level 2 Jarvan EQ is very, very scary nonetheless, and he does have the double buff. Yet again, Condi's blue buff falling to a Jarvan on the other side, as well as all the scuttle crabs on the map.
Probably doesn't want to dive that.
Why does this keep happening to him?
There
Stop
has
giving
been
away
no
everything.
interactions on the bottom side of the map just yet. Hacker's going to secure that Scuttle Crab, like you said. Connie doesn't want the blue buffs. Connie doesn't want the Scuttle Crabs. His early games are dictated, are telegraphed every single time, and Hacker's is abusing it at this point. Lies in the top lane. He is going to be ganked yet again by Connie, still at level 2. Gets the Arctic Assault. Off Xiao Al, flips himself out of that situation, and LGD are fine.
Condi, was it worth it? Really? You give up more jungle camps to just, queue in and then not really do anything with it because you didn't put your body between the Urgot judo flip and his tower.
Alright, so Condi has one camp.
Yeah, he's now trying to take the Krugs, but if you notice, he had the E skilled and he had the Q skilled, so it takes him quite a while without that W able to just clear out the camps. Yes, the E is super nice, the Q is super nice, but it does take the Sejuani quite some time.
Condi's doing fine. He's got 1 CS per minute,
He's
I
doing
guess.
fine. Keep it up,
He's
Condi.
got 1 CS per minute. He has 1 camp, trying to secure the second one. The Krugs from Hacker, who's already at 19 CS. He's not even going to be able to complete that camp for that matter.
Well,
Oh no, this is terrible. He desperately needs to scale with the Sejuani. Otherwise, he's a non-factor throughout the game.
he's usually a non-factor in the games until the Baron spawns. Then he really just comes online. So, not all doom and gloom for LGD right now. CS, bot lane. That's
Lots of
all
stuff going on. PYL going for the taunt, gets a 2-man taunt, and Cleanse comes out of SMLZ. Kramer goes in the front line. SMLZ without his summoner is in dire trouble. Kramer out-trading both SMLZ and Sword Art and making a statement here in the bottom side of the map. Now Lies completely overextended. In the brush behind him lies Condi.
Condi trying again, but
When you try your best and you don't succeed.
okay, so you saw the proc of the E come through from the Sejuani to his ally. That does not show to the enemy, by the way. It's just a spectator thing. We see it, but the Urgot does.
He really desperately wants to get Xiao Al behind, but he needs Lies to connect his abilities in order to get something done.
He keeps interrupting the recall.
Xiao Al gets knocked up by the glacial, by the Arctic Assault. Finally, he gets pulled back by the Bear Trap on a rub. Could be the first blood for LGD. They're committing the dive, but it goes south. Lies gets dismounted, and LGD Condi is wasting more time up here.
That was the first 6 minutes of the Sejuani's game dedicated towards the top lane. Could not even get it despite the flash being down, and here comes Hacker. You have the Hunter's Potion in the inventory of Condi, and that's it.
Uh-oh, Fear Beyond Death is used. Flash comes out from Condi, and that's going to be all that she wrote.
You can tell how badly a game's going if one jungler has Hunter's Potion, by the way. It's like Ghetto Blue buff. When you don't have a buff to, get through your jungle clear, you need that. And that is such a bad investment of gold. Cannot even afford the whole jungle item or a pair of boots. Well, he could afford the boots, but he wants...
He can't afford anything. He's got 11 CS, and most of them he took from Liza's lane.
A very, very poor Sejuani right now. Suffering on the back end of that, and on topic of suffering, 20 CS lead almost for the Sunning bot lane right now. Kaisar having a field day against that poor purported early game hyper carry of the Lucian. BF sword coming through from SMLZ. We could see the Stormrazor rush. We are still on 9.2. Fairly standard across the board in that regard.
Yes. Even though the patch is already live in the regular servers, I doubt SMLZ is going to build into the Infinity Edge for a sudden. That'd be a dire mistake. But regardless, Hacker's still maintaining the priority over the Scuttle Crabs. Dictated across the series so far. We've seen this story before. And it's Hacker who maintains the security of the game. But the upset this time is that Condi has 0 priority so far, and Ian's getting ganked. Goes into the Sanguine Pool and dodges the bullet here from Hacker. He won't play did go out.
Hemoplague? He just used it. He dropped on Hacker when he got ganked and then walked away.
It's the heal. It's for the heal.
I guess so.
Oh no, Condi is starving. Condi is starving right now.
Yeah, half clearing out the camps does mean that the Sejuani is even further behind, further augmenting the lead this Jarvan does have over his opposing number, and it just means the Sejuani is gonna struggle a bit more in getting back into the game. As well as that, level lead means bigger smites means this next buff is gonna come up, and the blue buffs presumably gonna go by way of this Jarvan.
Curiously enough, they're both at level 5. However, Condi is going to get spotted by his own blast, or not the blast gun, but the scrying bloom. Hacker around the corner looking for the smite. Both smites at the same level. Condi spots Hacker going in. Hacker drops the flag, but doesn't get the drag. Condi secures the blue before himself. Hacker might be in trouble. Flashes over the wall. PYL is there to the assist. Hacker dies to first blood, and LGD open up the hostilities. PYL, fear beyond death, 1-for-1.
1-for-1 overall, but still a really good turnaround from LG there. Condi coming in clutch with the smite yet again. It's not the Baron this time around, but hey, Hacker having some questions asked of him, and some questions asked for himself as well. Good rotation from the rest of LGD, good pickup from the rest of Sunning, and now the 1v1 bot lane is looking increasingly more scary the longer it goes on. Now look at this, attempted steal, but you cannot outsmite that E-smite combo from the Sejuani. So much raw damage coming out. Nice stun over the wall into the taunt combination from PYL as well. But this Galio support, quite squishy right now, eats a good amount of damage from Lissandra, enough for the got to clean up with the Fear Beyond Death. And right now, Zhao Ao looking in prime Kai position yet again as he does match the kill of his opposing number in the top side.
He does, but finally Condi can breathe deep and rest assured that he's back in the game. 31 CS to 47. He's got some extra gold in his pocket. He managed to find a Bambi Cinder in the store. Probably got a loan off the shopkeeper, but who cares at this point? He kind of is back. He's got some bulk in his inventory.
He's got a decent amount of heftiness to him, but nowhere near as much as Hacker right now. That red smite, of course, meaning that the trades are gonna go even further in favor of
Hey, look, another scuttle crab for Hacker.
Yeah, he's pretty much having a monopoly on these this entire series. I don't know what Condi's rationale behind seeding every single initial blue buff and both scuttle crabs is, but it seems like, I don't know, it's worked out for him sometimes, but it still feels cavalier to me, especially because better junglers are going to abuse that a lot more.
So with this type of control, Sunning Gaming's kind of toned down on the juggle aggression, especially considering the Condi's already at level 6. Gold difference isn't that accentuated just yet. There's about 1,000 gold lead favorable to Sunning Gaming. Most of it is guaranteed by Hacker's lead over Condi. And part of it is also, look at SMLZ's advantage in terms of CS against Kramer.
SMLZ continuing to apply pressure. It was a bit more earlier, so Kramer doing an okay job closing that.
Hello, Hemoplay goes down a little bit early, doesn't find Hacker. Ian is now stuck inside the Cataclysm. The Hemoplay goes off, he heals for a ton. Maple might be in trouble as the Glacial Prison has already been used. Sword Art goes in, gets the pulverized down, but now the fight turns around. LGD want the bite back. PYL goes in with the hero's entrance, knocks up Hacker. Hacker perishes for the second time and Lies secures the kill.
Okay, solid turnaround from Ian there, almost turning it by himself, but then Sword Art came out of the fog of war, came from Narnia, knocking him up with the Alistair Bullhorn combo, you know what it is. And then the good rotation from Lies yet again, did not even need the charge, but the bear trap on a rope pulled Hacker back into the Galley ultimate, and the heroic entrance connected. SMLZ did not connect.
Great going out. Forward. SMLZ wants to fight Kramer, but Kramer has more raw DPS than SMLZ, so he's forced to flash away from that skirmish.
A lot of AD in the pocket of SMLZ right now. Doesn't quite have the upgrade on his Q, but will do fairly soon enough, and that means more missiles coming out from the Acathian Rain. And then you see how nice this rotation was. This gank was good. The patience displayed by Ian was good. Bit of a greedy proto belt, but he had his jungler coming. Did not expect to have the Alistair coming, however.
Then LGD
Look at this
collapsed
bear
completely.
trap on the rope, pulling back in the Jarvan, pulling him into the heroic entrance, and boom.
Boom.
Good times all around.
Pop goes the Weasel. Now we do need to acknowledge that SMLZ has no flash for the next 5 to 6 minutes, give or take, in which he's going to be very, very vulnerable. The Killer Instinct only dives the backline of the enemy. He can't dive his own backline with it. So he still has a cleanse to back himself down too. But regardless, he's in a
Team
vulnerable
up for the
position.
Kled is a very important item threshold to hit. It gives him wave clear, gives him trade potential. If he gets on top of the ergot, he's gonna start to shred him. You're rushing the Black Cleaver into the Titanic Hydra as Kled, and then that's actually a very, very strong 2-item power spike. If you can get backline access, you shred them. If you can get frontline access, you shred them too. Just Kled is really difficult to deal with when he's this far ahead, especially if he hits that 2-item power spike around the 18, 19, 20 minute mark, which is presumably where he will hit it.
Well, considering that he has already 2 kills in, it probably will happen sooner rather than later. Plus, the cooldown reduction from the Black Cleaver is also going to come real handy in order to circle around the map with his charge ability.
Yep. And as well as teleport and flash available just means that SMLZ, who does not have his own flash available, the Mountain Drake coming up as well, means that any neutral objective fight is gonna be in LGD's favor right now, especially since, priority carries, no flashes available, and you have the consistent backline threat of both the Kled and the Sejuani and the Vladimir if he finds his way in.
Well, that's another skill up in favor of Hacker.
Stop telling it, it's not fair.
Still no proactive moves towards the
Kramer.
Mountain Dragon. It could be interesting. Xiao Al in the top lane lies 1v1, not doing too well as the Black Cleaver is already online for Xiao Al. Fear Beyond Death not available as a charge is used to get out of the SMLZ. Diving, gets taunted in the backline. Kramer secures a kill on SMLZ. And now everyone on Zuni Gaming are between a rock and a hard place as Condi hops in, tries to get on Hacker, but he flashes out. Sword Art is looking for the cooldowns for the disengage. They don't have enough damage. Double teleport coming in from Zuni Gaming, looking to disrupt this engage from LGD. PYL drops in the process, and Suning bite back, leaving Condi diving for the back.
Double teleport coming from Suning as they do commit for what will presumably be that first Tower Blood. No plates left available because, hey, it's past the 14-minute mark, but that's more than fine if you're Suning Gaming. Committing both teleports there, they've got a decent chunk of change from that initial kill, got a couple more kills across the board as well, and it just meant that the pressure they had in the top lane then bled down into the bottom lane, and you see their counter-attack. And this not quite Tower First Blood, you see a teleport coming from the Kled. That's
a lies. That's his Xiao Al securing the tower regardless. He already knows his fate. He accepts it completely, and now he's just going to secure his body to the better of science. Kramer could have secured that, but lies once a 3-0.
Kramer thought he got an assist because it looked like the Ardent Blaze did connect to the W from Lucian, but unfortunately went wide, so just another kill in the pocket of this Kled right now. Saying,
I think it got mitigated by the shield.
That would still give him an assist though, because it helped tag through.
But it didn't deal any damage. Oh, regardless.
It gives
LGD lost the tower. They lost the tower regardless. And Suning are ahead by 2,000 gold. LGD secured the first big objective of the map in the form of a Mountain Dragon, which could help them catapult their mid-game securing structures.
But again, they lose another outer tower, and here's the replay. So SMLZ kind of solo dives. It's really difficult tower dive evolution when he has Galio support. You saw the heroic entrance, you saw the raw CC coming through, and the immediate death from this Kaisar was just complete misplay from Suning Gaming's AD carry. The decent turnaround from LGD did get punished by that double teleport as you see both members of the solo lanes coming through. And it was an attempt at a turnaround from LGD. Did not work out too much as they do find themselves 2 towers down, 1 Mountain Drake up. Would be a good step forward towards evening out the advantage across the board if they can secure this roof tower.
And on the subject of the double teleport, this meant that Suning no longer has the versatility to circle around the map as fast as LGD can. They may have secured the first blood tower with the 4-man bot, but they lost the Mountain Dragon and the Rift Herald in the process. Was the teleport necessary?
Now that first tower blood's gone down, and considering the enemy mid lane turret is so low, and considering that we're past the turret plating mark, it's not too important. So it's going to get 1 charge off here. Going to presumably break this in tandem with the Lucian. And then that's 1 turret, but hey, you still have 2. It's not even going to break that.
It's not even going to break that. We've seen LGD just fizzle out the Rift Herald last game as well. They don't seem to have the right call in order to utilize the Rift Herald to its full potential. PYL is going to be left behind as he tries to taunt away at Suning Gaming. 2 members locked down. Stopwatch goes off. Hacker might be in trouble yet again. Kramer looking to secure another kill. PYL gets stove into the back line, but he's inside a Cataclysm trying to recall. Gets taken down by Maple as he walks in to the top end of the map. 3v2 right now. Kramer still healthy, still dishing out a lot of damage. Sword Art in the front line. Double kill from Maple. Make that a 3-for-1 in favor of Suning Gaming.
The teleport got cancelled because Ian teleported to the middle of the lane and got entirely burst down by Xiao Ao on this Urgot.
Unlucky.
That feels so bad, but you saw just how desperate LGD were to salvage some sort of play there. The Vladimir committing teleport did not respect the fact that Urgot could just instantly go aggressive. Didn't even look like Fear Beyond Death was needed to be used as it seems to already be on cooldown. Just immediate turnaround. Kill potential from Xiao. I think we'll get a replay of it, but man, that was a misplay from LGD. Look at this. Okay, Fear Beyond Death was used, but yeah. Okay, look, he thinks he's safe. He thinks he can go for the teleport play.
He's going for
Look at this.
Oh, goodbye. Nom 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 nom. Nice dive from Xiaowell, completely calculated, complete disrespect from Ian as well, but Suning Gaming want to step up this game. They don't want to let the game drag out as much as it did on the second match of the series. And now LGD 4,000 gold behind. Suning Gaming still making the proactive plays, still taking down structures. They've taken down 2 towers in the top lane, and that's just the beginning of it.
Oh man, that feels bad. That really, really, really feels bad, especially if, you know, you're trying to force plays, you get punished for said plays. LGD have done a damn good job coming back from the efficiency, especially Condi found himself in the early game, but is it enough? Are Suning finally awoken, or
They look
is
to
Maple
be.
going to have to drag this team kicking and screaming across the finish line?
They look to be, but right now the 20-minute mark seems like an unreasonable window to really close out a game, so we'll have to wait and respond to that question within about 10 minutes, give or take. I would assume that Suning Gaming would have a game plan stuck with them for at the 25-30 minute mark, which is usually when the LPL games tend to come to a close, or the deciding factor.
Yeah, the 25-30 minute mark is when we hit it, but the past 2 games this game have been 37 and 50 respectively. I really hope we end in the next 10-15 minutes, but yeah, you never know with these 2 teams.
Oh, in goes Hacker, goes for the Cataclysm, locks in Kramer in PYL. PYL gets stuck between a rock and a hard place. Try to collapse. PYL is still alive, but the fear beyond death is going to scare Elias away as he dives the back line. Dismounts Kled. Maple goes in, secures the kill. Suning are unstoppable. Ian does have the Hemoplague down in the battlefield, but he is still forced out of the fight as Suning raffle stomps through LGD's lineup.
Okay, that looked really, really like it could have been a nice salvageable flank from Ian there, but Hemoplague this point of the game, Vlad in general this point of the game not really doing too much damage, does not quite have that Spellbinder completed. Hemoplague did not even burst through the Jarvan shield, which is, you know, not all that impressive a shield, all things considered, so yeah. A little bit unfortunate for LGD being caught out at a point where they don't have the relevant power spikes. Yes, the solution is huge, but he almost immediately got taken out of the fight with the entire team collapsing on him, followed up from the Cataclysm from the Jarvan. Hacker really putting on a show here, saying, look, I invaded early, I took control of the game early, I'm gonna start taking control of these fights early. Yes. I want to end the game early, and that's the good attitude to take. That's the thing to take when you face down a Vladimir comp.
Ironically enough, the one game that Hacker is having a lot of early influence is the one game that he does not have the Tiamat with him.
Look at that. Immediate engage. And where's the rest of LGD? Look, the charge looks so beautiful, but people were already dead.
Where's Ian? My biggest question is, where is Ian at this point?
Trying to make his way there. You saw it. He has teleport, but it's not available right now. After that disaster mid lane. Beautiful Hemoplague on 4 people, but what can it do? It heals them up, sure, but it's certainly not doing much damage right now, if any. Suning pick up the Ocean Drake off of that, pick up the reset for Baron Vision, and hopefully pick up the Baron unless Condi has something to say about it.
Well, he has had something to say about it in the last series twice, for that matter. But Suning Gaming still have PTSD from that last game. They're not gonna force entry through the Baron right now. They still want to secure priority on all the side lanes, and they still need to take down lives to get so.
And now Suning trying to get just some extra vision. As you said, you need to take down lives if you want to alleviate some of the pressure in your side lane. But with side lane pressure in mind, you have Maple shoving in top, having his teleport available, having Frozen Tomb available, and who can match this Cassandra? You have a nice zoom out here, probably highlighting the fact that Sorlat's looking for a flank. But it's Condi looking for a flank.
Condi who wants to go in. Hacker is the man for the plan here. Teleport connects Yao Al in the front line now. They're swapping over aggro LGD in a world of trouble. Ian doesn't even have the chance to drop down to Hemoplague as he gets consumed by the fear beyond death. Condi, Kramer, and PYL on the run after Lies and Ian got taken down by Suning Gaming. Hacker still has something to say. Kramer in trouble. Xiaowao on the front line takes the second kill. Zordar pummels through the front line.
Okay, that was a really beautiful disengage from SMLZ in particular. Sorry, from Kramer in particular. Despite getting caught out with no flash, he played it super well. He dashed where he could. He dodged out on some crucial abilities, skirted around, did some damage, but hey, when you're this far behind, when you're facing down this much of a threatening front line, just a hard game, to be honest. And now Suning looked to be in complete control and looked to round out with a Baron that, uncontestable at this point.
Condi steal. Condi steal. Condi's in the top lane. He's nowhere near that Baron Nashor, so they just receive. They're on the receiving end. They acknowledge that they can't go for the steal. They just see it drop in favor of Suning Gaming.
And this is how this panned out. It was an LGD engage onto Hacker of all people, trying to burst down the tankiest member of this team. Probably not your best idea. Good engage into the fight from Lies. He had good backline access, but by the time he started to be relevant, Ian was already dead. Fabian Death had already come out. So many members of LGD just dropping left and right, and as we said, Kramer, no flash, just gets isolated, knocked down by that dynamic duo of Zhao and Hacker, who at this point in the game are nigh uncontestable. 14 out of 15 kill participations on Hacker, 13 on Sword, just highlighting the fact that these guys in particular are doing work this game.
And now Ian, he finally has the Spellbinder, but it's too little too late at this point. He needs to be more proactive in the fights, but it's fights that he can't really secure or even contest right now with the 5-man Baron play in the hands of Suning Gaming.
5-man Baron gives you a lot of options, and you saw just how well executed split push was before. Maple still has teleport available in his pocket, and Ian going to match him, but it's going to be a hard ask for him. Lies has charge, does not want to go in right now, decided, hey, nope, I'm getting out, seeding this turret, trying to make some sort of play here to defend their inhib tower, but it looks like it's going to be smooth sailing from here on out for Suning.
And it's so counterproductive right now. You have an ultimate that is rendered useless from Lies. It's an ultimate that wants to dive, it wants to go in, but no one else on LGD has the same feeling.
And it would have been so beautiful had they managed to get ahead on this card, had they managed to dive forward with the Galio ult, follow up with the Sejuani ult, with the backline access for this Vladimir.
QIL, desperation move, everyone is collapsing. There's a charge coming in from Lion, gets 4-man lockdown, he gets dismounted in the process. Cataclysm's already down. The first member to be locked in is Ian, but down goes Lies. Ian still surviving in the back, but he finally gets taken down by SMLZ. Suning Gaming looking to destroy member by member. LGD's base is next, and Condi is the last man standing to have a front row seat at the devastation.
And Kramer was still clearing top when that fight was engaged, and it just calls into question what is LGD's communication at this point, besides disjointed, because these guys, they looked like they had some sparks of brightness throughout this entire series, but it fell apart for them at the finish line. They dropped to Suning Gaming here, AC. Take it away.
And the curse has been lifted, Ibris. 26 minutes of game. Suning Gaming said no more. We've had enough, and they've taken game number 3. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears have been dribbled down from Suning Gaming, but they did it. They're 5-5 right now. LGD put on a hell of a show, but at the end of the day, Suning Gaming take home the win.
Suning Gaming looking not like the super team we expected from the start of the season, not like the super team we saw in the first couple of weeks, but Suning Gaming saying, look, we're not great right now, but we're not gonna lose to a 16th place team. Sending out a message to Invictus Gaming at least saying, look, you lost to these guys, we didn't, so hopefully next time we meet, you lose to us.
But they won't meet this split, at least not if they don't make playoffs, and LG are far away from those playoff spots. Amazing performance from both of these teams, super entertaining games, but this game, where were Suning Gaming throughout the series? Where was this composition Suning? Where was this finesse of Suning Gaming?
Maple dragging the team, kicking and screaming in game 2. I'm doing pretty damn well in game 3, but part of that I'll attribute to just Condi ceding everything to the enemy jungler in every game this series, regardless of whether it's Hacker, whether it's Weiwei. Oh man, Condi, you're son of Baron, you're so good at times, but you cannot afford to give away that much in the early game.
Oh man, Suning Gaming finally back on their, well not back on their feet, but they're back up. They've got a win back after a 5-series loss streak, and they finally managed to rack a win up against LGD. This was the ultimate challenge. Suning Gaming managed to overcome it. But to break down this best of 3 series, now Suning Gaming took this game so easily. We're going to pass it over to Ray Richu and the analyst desk. So take it over.
Yeah.
Nice.
Suiting. Yeah. Oh, geez, I still have a hat on.
Yes, Opal. Thanks, ACN and Briz. We are back on the desk with Nightstar, Corky, and French Opal. I want to say.
Like my last name's already French, so you can't even like say it's French Opal. I'm already kind of French. Not really. I don't know any French. But
French Canadian.
I was told that I was gonna have a baguette as well on here. Our producer lied. Justin. Lied. He's just gonna jankily add one into my head.
He's gonna add one right now. Turns out, Opal, you were psychic. You rooted for the correct team. Out of the two of us, your team won 2-1. It hurts. It really hurts me to say this, but guys, break down that game number 3 for us. I can't.
I can't either. Don't worry. That was Suning not throwing. Wow, you saw it by that gold graph. It's simple enough. I still think Hacker just performs a lot better in the jungle than we saw Condi this series. I just wonder why Suning decided that they wanted to do the double sub. Maybe they just want to try something new, but obviously it's not working. So they're gonna have to bring back the alternative, having Angel in the mid lane and then Wei in the jungle if they want to try something new. They're gonna have to practice that a little bit more before I think it pays off.
Yeah, and it did seem like it might have been something along the lines of having Wei start and then have Hacker watch the path of Condi and then come up with a counter plan. But Hacker definitely came in and read the Vega. Condi definitely got read like a book in games 2 and 3 by Hacker. He was either reading him or perhaps hacking him. Yeah. It was a pretty dominating performance.
Oh, but I feel like you need to do pretend like you're eating it or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. I'm trying to see here. All right.
Yeah, that's great. Someone screen cap this.
Twitch clip.
Okay. Don't worry. Back. We don't have a whole lot of time here, guys.
Yeah, back to the series, guys. I mean, you guys talked a lot about how this was Suning really performing up to how we were expecting them to, I think, for today. But let's talk a bit about LGD, because we kind of had, I kind of had hopes for them coming into today. We were talking about the last week when they made their announcement that they were finally going to use EN as well as PYL as their starting roster. We thought they were finally getting things together. It looked like that in game 1, but kind of fell apart in the middle of the series. What do we think about that? Do we think that it's maybe them having a bad day? Do we think they need to go back to the drawing board? How do we see them going into next week's games?
With next week's games, they just need to learn when they can take the fights and when they can't, because they were taking fights, especially in that last game, where they thought they could win, but they, in the mid lane fight, where they were pretty much wiped except for Ian, it's just, they all engaged, except Ian wasn't there. So they didn't have the damage also sustained from the Vladimir to go through, as Maple is the man of the match for today, for the last game. But yeah, Ian, he had a great first game on the Vladimir, so we were kind of expecting him to pop up again. But he just wasn't where he needs to be for his team to actually get that damage and sustain through.
Yep. I mean, agreed. I think Ian is a perfectly fine player for this team, just because his performances themselves haven't been bad. I went back and saw the VODs for their last week's series, and he was outputting a lot of damage. And the game last week kind of came to an unfortunate end. So not going to dwell on that too much as far as his own performance. So definitely give him a little more time. We've only seen him for 2 matches, so lots of room to improve, especially with getting that team map movement, team macro going.
Yep, and Maple, as you guys saw on your screen, getting the MVP for game number 2. Just wanted to get your thoughts real quick about that. What do we think? Do we think that going forward, Swinning should be starting Maple for most of the games, or no? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, they definitely should be starting Maple. He has that early game aggression and rotations that allow Suning to get ahead for their games. As we saw in Game 1 when he wasn't, where it was Angel instead, Angel didn't exactly have the same qualities that Maple did in that early game. And that allowed LGD to snowball forward, especially in that Game 1.
Yep. All right, guys, we are going to go into our MVP interview for our second series of the day. It's going to be a double interview with Xiaoal and Maple. I've got no stream sound.
Oh no. There it is.
Maple is saying that today's match is very crucial because if they lost today, they wouldn't have made it into playoffs. So they were really like trying to play very hard to win. Okay,
like,
guys,
that tech issue. I heard that too. I heard that too. Don't worry. Don't worry.
We had a tech issue with the audio feed from the Chinese side. It was like repeating over and over like the same line. So I don't think we're going to be able to get the winner's interview for you guys in its entirety today. We do apologize. I mean, I did want LGD to get the interview, but
they have to win, Jenny, and that might take a while.
They've won once, all right? Sure, it took them 7 weeks, all right? But they have won once. They've won once. They got one interview. I'm just LG disappointed for 3 years.
I think you need you need your own hat. You need your own fedora.
No, don't add more hats to this desk. I swear, I'm not even. I'm done. I'm already done here.
Hats are right. We should equal opportunity. All 4 of us should get hats.
Yeah, I want a death cap.
That'll be a secret. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we add for summer. We're just gonna have everyone has their own hats. They have their own little box. They have their own little hat. There you go.
All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for us today. If you've just joined recently or in the second series, just to recap today's games, SDG beat OMG 2-0. And in the second series, that just ended, Sinning 1, LGD Gaming 2-1 in a very close series. Could have gone either way. All right, guys. The official LPL cast will be back tomorrow. If you guys are following twitch.tv/OppoCast, our unofficial LPL stream will be back this Friday with Top versus Vici Gaming, followed by EDG playing LGD. So you definitely don't want to miss that one. Thanks for watching today, guys, and we will see you back again on Friday.